And we're back to check out this interview everybody's making a big fuss about. Well, I guess just everyone's making a fuss in general about what Shia LaBeouf is up to right now. Which, I mean, in my experience, it's nothing new. This is something that happens every so often. He kind of settled down for a bit, but a while back, several years ago, people were thinking he was crazy for his erratic behaviors and the strange art projects he was doing. So I had done a video about him a while ago, and exploring his childhood and the reasons why he might be doing what he's doing at the time. Now that was several years ago, so I can't say for sure that all of my opinions are the same now. Obviously, I've grown and evolved and become wiser since, but I do still believe that he is not crazy. From what I do know, from what we all know at this point about his childhood and the people he was surrounded by, I think that we're almost looking at best case scenario. I think most people look at it like he's really struggling and going through a hard time and like it's really having a rough go. But really, for the other options, I guess you could say, for the other ways that some of these situations end up panning out in Hollywood. And as we're seeing right now, I mean, it seems that everybody's either imploding or exploding right now, or they're starting to speak out, which is really great. But we are seeing a lot of collateral damage and casualties right now on the battlefield of Hollywood. So for the fact that he's still with us, and yeah, I mean, he's still maybe having some drunken, stupid bar situations, which obviously I don't condone that, and I don't think that what he's doing is right. But I think that there's still a lot, bubbling beneath the surface that he's still dealing with and trying to work through. And I think that's evident from what I'm seeing with just the memes and some of the posts about this interview. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I wanted to go into it blind with you guys, so I haven't watched it yet. But I did see different quotes and different little clips going around on Twitter. And from what I gather, he's just has issues from when he was a kid, and I think that because he's a public figure, he's frequently accosted in public. I guess you could say that he ends up getting a lot of people that try to provoke him and try to get a rise out of him because they know that he does have a bit of a temper, and that he has some soft spots, right? But welcome everybody. What's up, Veronica? What's up, Divine Sparks? I'll give you guys another couple minutes here. Brandon Rudder, welcome. Give you guys another minute or two to get in here before we start the interview. But I did tell you guys, I mentioned that I wanted to be able to get on and watch this with you guys. I meant to, like, yesterday or the day before, but I wanted to get that Brock Pierce video done and out, and there's so many other things going on. I want to cover the Zachary Ty Bryan thing as well. I kind of touched on that in the last couple videos, but I want to go deeper on that on the mind map, because I've made the connections there in between what was going on with Home Improvement and not to say anything wrong was going on that set specifically, but the younger actor never, he kind of fizzled off after. Jonathan Taylor Thomas had sort of fizzled off after working with Brad Renfro on that Tom and Huck, which is a little bit of a weird movie too. So there's a lot going on just there alone, and Zachary Ty Bryan now is kind of going through a lot of the same struggles that Brad Renfro did before his untimely and tragic end. And I think with Shia, he's always kind of been walking the fine line of that. He's, always been able to stay just on the level enough that he's not going right to the wayside in the way that Brad Renfro had and some others had near their end. But with Zachary Ty Bryan, he's been sentenced to 16 months, so he's in prison. So I'm hoping that they're going to give him some help while he's there, and he's able to help. He's able to work on some stuff while he's in there and away from everybody. But I mean, we've seen that pattern so many times before. So, and again, like with the violence and the excessive self-medication and stuff that's going on with that, obviously I don't condone any of that. But with what we know, with what some of these kids were going through at the time, I think we are seeing that pattern emerge of how that plays out in adulthood and how that affects them in adulthood. And I think we're all we're learning something from it, I think, now. I think, I've kind of been here trying to talk about a lot of this stuff for a long time, but I think more as a collective, people are starting to become even more trauma-informed and aware and more understanding and empathetic of what a lot of these people went through, which hopefully will make it easier for them to not want to self-medicate, because I think that it's so hard for people that come out of the limelight with hardships and childhood traumas that they don't really have anywhere to turn, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're just some spoiled child actor, you have all this money, you don't have a right to be upset, you don't have a right to be damaged by that childhood. But I don't think people really realize the scope of what some of these kids were going through. But yeah, welcome, Bud of Love, Stephanie, Cupcake Explosion, Homeland Conspiracy, I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, no, you're not late. You guys are right on time. We're just doing a little intro chit-chat here before we get started. Divine Spark, welcome. Anybody, if I missed you, welcome everybody. Welcome new folks. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and check out this interview, see what he has to say. I guess he was kind of talking about why he is the way he is and why he reacts the way he reacts, which I don't know if that's just giving people more ammo to screw with them, if that's what they're looking to do. Or if it's hopefully giving people more of an idea of what's going on. I think most people by this point should kind of realize, he was a Disney kid. He had started out on that, and actually I think he did some stuff before, but Even Stevens was like his big, best-known thing when he was a kid, alongside Christy Carlson Romano, and even her, she had some situations going on. Her first movie, her debut movie, was with Woody Allen, and I think it's one that Drew Barrymore was in. I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of these ones that was a little musical, and she does this little Chiquita Banana segment. That's whatever, I guess. People really celebrated Woody Allen at the time, so it was a big deal for them then. But obviously there was some stuff going on for her too, and she's been doing her podcast and speaking with some of these young stars about what they went through. She actually did a really good interview with Bug Hall when he was coming out and speaking about his stuff. But so I think people now, more and more people can have that, understanding and starting to really see that, like, being a child actor, you're literally on a battlefield. There's literally collateral damage and casualties, for a lot of these young stars, their peers, colleagues, friends. A lot of them aren't making it in adulthood. We're seeing a lot of them right now, things happening that are kind of hitting a fever pitch almost, with people in the Reiner sphere, stuff happening there, and then just, we're seeing all this stuff happening in the outer sphere, but it's I think they're all kind of affected in a way, especially being from a similar generation and having all grown up in whatever rot was going on, between the 70s and the 90s, like, let alone coming into the newer age. There was a lot of messy stuff going on. So I think we're getting it now, but I was curious kind of to see where he's at, because obviously I hadn't looked into it for a while. I did touch on the sister, the alleged twin sister, when that was coming out, and kind of touched on the past and the present, and that movie he did, Honey Boy. I watched that, and maybe I should have done a video then about it, I guess. I don't know. It's been a just a wild few years, I guess, of which direction to even go as more confirmations are happening, so especially right now, I'm like pulled in so many different directions, but this has been one that I followed for a long time, and I think just to see where his head's at now, just for how I've grown and changed from when I did that video, the first Still Not Crazy video, to now, I think it'll be interesting to see. One Love's here, I see you, Carol. Alrighty, guys, I guess we got most of the regulars are rolled in at least, so we'll go ahead and start the interview, and we'll chit-chat and discuss as we go. But yeah, I'm not 100% where he does go with this, so I do want to reiterate, I guess, that I don't necessarily support or believe in or share the same opinion of everything he's about to say, and I don't condone violence or hate against any people or parties, groups, whichever. I don't know exactly what he's going to be talking about here. I do know he goes into some serious stuff, so I guess just a warning on that. That he might be going into details of child harms and trespasses, things like that. So just a forewarning. But yeah, let's try to. I guess with you guys already know, but I have seen a lot of people ripping him up on the socials. So let's try to keep an open mind and open heart, knowing what we know. And I definitely, like, I recommend checking out that Honey Boy movie. I kind of talked about it in that post, but like, he's been trying to talk about stuff for a long time, and I think he's always been dismissed because he is kind of a rowdy, outspoken fellow. But I think that he's fighting the same battle in a way. You know, he's fighting the same good fight in his own way, and has been trying to for quite some time. So, without further ado,
Channel 5 News, what's up?
We made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Live from uptown New Orleans.
Did it.
Less than 1 week after Mardi Gras, right?
We did it.
Oh, exactly 1 week since Fat Tuesday.
Bro, the fact that you're still talking, didn't you have a voice problem earlier?
Yeah, I had a voice problem.
What was the voice problem?
I've just been touring a lot and just like yelling.
What's touring?
Just like going to different cities and screening documentaries. But when I get on stage, I yell the name of the city. So I'll be like, Orlando.
You should, yeah.
So gradually it's faded. But I haven't yelled New Orleans yet. Maybe I could try when we wrap the interview.
All right, don't do it right now. We got to talk.
Okay. Let me know where we're going.
I like this setup, bro. It's so solid, bro. It's holistic.
Well, bro, thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Easy.
I think a lot of people probably saw some of the Mardi Gras media coverage.
No, I understand.
Heard about the arrest and stuff.
God bless them.
can you guys hear this? Okay, it seems kind of quiet on my end. I'm gonna try to crank this up a tiny bit, but you guys can hear it, right? Like, it's coming through. The tech issues we were having there time or two last week. I made sure to triple check everything before I jumped on, but let me know if you can hear okay. I am turning it up anyway though, so it should be able to hear it a little better now. Oops, shoot. I just skipped it back to the start. There, good enough. All right.
Earlier?
Yeah, I had a voice problem.
What was the voice problem?
I've just been touring a lot and just like yelling.
What's touring? All right, don't do it right now. We got to talk.
Okay. Let me know where we're going.
I like this setup, bro. It's so solid, bro. It's holistic.
Well, bro, thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Easy.
I think a lot of people probably saw some of the Mardi Gras media coverage.
No, I understand.
Heard about the arrest and stuff.
God bless them.
Likely want to know how you're doing.
Bro, I've been having a time of my life. You know, I got some contrition on my heart, you know what I mean? It's not nice to hurt people, ever. It's fucking lame. People got hurt, I gotta deal with that. I'm gonna deal with that. I'm gonna deal with that in full. I'll eat it all. It's on me. It's not on them. It's on me. I fucked up. It's on me. I fucked up. It's on me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you take responsibility for
1,000%. We're not gonna play games.
Which, that deserves credit right there alone. The fact that he's like, yeah, like, it's my own fault. It's on me. I'm gonna answer to it. I'm gonna deal with it. That's good. That's good. He's always been pretty good that way. Like, he's not always been the smartest and doing the right things when he's getting in a drunken ruckus situation, but he knows when he's done wrong, and he knows that, like, he's at least always been very like, yep, I totally fucked up, I gotta do something about that. And historically speaking, he's always had a good bounce back. He's had a good way of pivoting himself back into a better, healthier, stable position. But I think, over time, he did have a lot of different there's a lot of different external factors, people managing and handling them, and a lot of other things going on. So I think that it'll be interesting to see where he goes with it from here, because he kind of seems to, he'll hit bottom and then bounce back up, hit bottom, bounce back up. But I want to see him keep going. I want to see him keep on the comeback side of things, and doing the right thing, because obviously he needs some other help. He obviously needs, if this is a recurring thing and something that keeps coming back for him, which I think he was really just trying to have a good time at Mardi Gras, and then obviously being a star, young star, and having buttons that can be pushed that people know. Like, historically speaking, there's been certain hot button issues that people be aware of to get a rise out of them if they wanted. And with nowadays too, people trying to get that footage on their phone and get the they throw it on TikTok or whatever and get the clicks. Like, all the more you've got, everyone's a paparazzi now. So I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll wait and listen a little more. And I didn't really look too much into the arrest thing, so I could be wrong. But from what it sounded like, it was a provocation. Like, there was more to it than what we saw outside the bar. There was more leading up to it.
Yeah.
But I had a great time.
Definitely. Just like partying at Mardi Gras in
No,
general.
more than that. Something further than that. Something like sacred, bro. Something like joy is sacred, bro. And we're in. I don't know. I keep talking like weird, like because we're camered up. So I'm thinking I gotta talk for a big audience. I'm gonna talk for me. Let's start over. Click. Start the whole interview over. Start the interview over, bro.
All right, we're here, Shia LaBeouf, live,
Yeah.
New Orleans, 1 week after Fat Tuesday. How are you doing 1 through 10?
Blessed.
Okay, so that's a 10.
It's a 10. Yeah, bro, I feel good. I mean, you know, man, I got shit I got to answer for, but overall, I feel good. I came out here heartbroken. I speak to you now as a man who's filling my heart up.
How long have you been in New Orleans for?
14 days, 12 days.
So did you come down like for Mardi Gras, or you came down like as a planned move?
No. So the fires happened in Pasadena. My dad was in Vietnam. He's got Agent Orange. His whole shit, he can't breathe. So he had to get out of Los Angeles. So when the fires happened, we all evacuated. My pops was like, I'm never going back. Set it up over here. We got family in Appaloosa and Abbeville, Covington, Mandeville. Like LaBeoufs are a name out here. Like they matter out here. You know, there's like LaBeouf parks and LaBeouf cemeteries. There was 3 brothers that really mattered out here. Early days, and I kind of never paid attention to it. I had a grandmother who was a lesbian, so she ran off with Ginsberg as a beard in the 50s.
Ginsberg, like the beat poet from the Bay.
Yeah, and there was a...
Wow, that was like a fully loaded sentence. Okay, so like, well, first off, yeah, he did just split up with his longtime off and on girlfriend, Mia Goth. So yeah, trying to get away from that and trying to self-soothe from that, which, like, not that drugs and alcohol are the answer. Understandable. So he gets out there, and it's like he was coming home, because this is like where a lot of his people come from. But Allen Ginsberg, if you guys have been following on the mind maps or just in the more recent videos with the Reiner Buzzfield stuff, Allen Ginsberg was a very strong supporter of the NAMBLA. So she wasn't just a beard. He identified as a gay man, but it wasn't. Oh my God, like, that's so fully loaded just in like a 30-second paragraph, like just one paragraph. There's so much going on there. So just to think about like that timeline of, oh man, like, that's saying something. That's saying a lot of something. I don't know what to think about that. We'll just keep listening here, but that's a moment. That's a thing. That's a situation for when, you know, and then he was a big part of like the hippie movement and recreational drugs being introduced to the population when they were doing a lot of those different experiments and trying to bring, especially like when they were trying to test out different psychedelics on the population, how they were distributing that, how that was coming through some of the universities and some of these literary, you know, philosophical different people. They were handing them down to the people that could describe it the best to test it out, and then those people were kind of distributing it to students or their followers or whoever, people that they knew in their groups. So Allen Ginsberg, he is like a fully loaded person, which I didn't even know how deep it went, but at the time, but I did go into him a bit in the Winona Ryder video, because her godfather was Timothy Leary, who was like the grandfather of LSD at the time, and they were all kind of in the same little troop, I guess you could say, with as far as the hand that they played in all of that. So like, that's so much going on, like that that one paragraph, I'm like, yeah, just starting off with a bang here. Jesus. Was not expecting that. Like, I knew he was saying some stuff, because I know, like I said, I saw they shared some stuff on Twitter and whatever. But obviously people were missing out on the real tidbits, because I didn't see anyone point this out, and that to me is like if the grandmother already was an advocate for what this man believed in, enough to be his beard and help protect him, when we know now what was actually going on, like that he was I don't even have to say it. You guys already know what I'm saying. You guys get it. I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. But that already, and then with what we know about his dad, and, you know, I could see him trying to get back to his roots and see some good in it, like trying to find the good in his family lineage as he's trying to search within himself. Oh, man, this poor fellow. Like, holy shit. We're not even 2 minutes into the damn video, guys.
beat thing going on, and she dipped off with them, and then she found herself on some gambling casino. It's a long story. Her name was Jacqueline Joy Ginger LaBeouf. She was a friend of Allen Ginsberg. So her family was deeply Catholic out here, and they didn't fuck with her being gay. So she had to move out there and change the spelling of her name. So LaBeouf out here is Lebeouf, and my name is Labeouf, and that's because of her. She basically said, fuck you to the family out here, moved to Los Angeles, Venice, with Ginsberg. They had a beatnik poet fucking house down there in Santa Monica, and that's where my dad was conceived and born and all that. So the LaBeoufs, the Labeoufs, the weird spelling, we all grew up in LA. Like, I have a half sister named Michelle. She lives in Utah, and she's married to a Honduran man, Dennis, good man. They got 2 beautiful kids who are going to be incredible. Anyway, blah blah blah. So it's 2 different families. You got the LaBeoufs for real, the Cajuns for real out here that I'm trying to get to know little by little. I haven't looked at you in a long time. Sorry, bro.
It's okay, bro. You're deep in thought.
Yeah. That's no good, though, huh? I need to look at you more. So let's start there. So what'd you ask me even?
I mean, most importantly, like, how did you get down to New Orleans in the first place? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like a permanent move that you're planning?
Family on both sides. So, you know what I mean? Heartbreak. Shit didn't work out. I had a dream that I was trying to build in Pasadena. It didn't work out, you know, because of me. And then, so I moved out here and started trying to build something new out here, like a landing pod. It's like an outpost. You're in an outpost right now.
Okay, so we're getting a lot more context to the whole situation, because some of the stuff circulating too was trying to say that he was being homophobic, that he had basically the arrest had happened because he had been hurling some slurs at some people at a bar and had gotten into an altercation. But from what I gathered was they were touching on him. They were coming on to him, making him feel uncomfortable, and due to his childhood and being surrounded by these chicken hawk type people, that like an Allen Ginsberg type, he had ended up reacting in a unsavory way. So the media's kind of been trying to frame him as being a homophobic, but basically he's saying that like his family had split off because the gayness in his family, the gay woman in his family had been rejected and had to move away and completely rebrand herself, and this is where he comes from, and him trying to go back to like to dig into that and to try to like soul search in such a way and to figure out his family roots and to figure out where he comes from. Like, so he's having a very intentional like spiritual pilgrimage in a way, and it happens to be that, you know, Mardi Gras was happening, he took part in that, but it sounds like there was so much more going on here. No, I don't think Ginsberg's his grandpa. She had served as his beard, and she was into women, so they didn't have an actual relationship, they were just hanging out together. But how he came about, then, I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm not really sure how that would work. Maybe he's going to go into it, but I can see he kind of was going out. He got lost in thought there with it, but it's because this is all the stuff he's been thinking about and looking into and learning about his family, and like obviously it's things that are important to him. Where he's like, he kind of came to and was realizing like, wait, no, I'm doing an interview. I'm supposed to be talking to this guy and talking to the audience. Like, we don't need to get into my whole family history or whatever. But honestly, I think that all of that speaks volumes for the kind of, you know, some of the situations he dealt with growing up and then who he became as an adult. But yeah, the Mia Goth stuff, I know there was it was a very tumultuous relationship. There was a lot going on. I'm not really sure about what the current, but obviously at this point they've decided to part ways for good. So obviously that's something that's affecting him too. And I think he's just trying to figure out where he belongs, because like he always had a really rough time with his own family. Like his relationship with his dad was awful. You know, he's kind of got that disconnected roots, disconnected family now, we're understanding. And then being in the industry itself, it's definitely giving a lot more depth and context to the overall, you know. So I think the fact that this is stuff that people were ignoring and they were highlighting the stuff to try to frame him in such a way and not really giving the full story, I think that's so, like, this is where you get the unethical reporting happening, you know? Because I knew right away, I was seeing some stuff and I'm like, okay, well, I know it's not exactly that, and I know he's not a shitty guy and he's not always out trying to cause shit, and I don't believe that he's a homophobe, I don't believe he's racist, I know that he said some stupid shit while drunk a time or two, but we know that's not who he is as a person, right? But yeah, so, like, that gives a lot more context, though, to why he has a certain aversion to people entering his space that is unconsensual, you know? I think there's a lot. I don't know what I was expecting out of this interview, but we're already going in, like, elbows deep. Come on, Shia, like, give me a break here. He's like, 2 minutes, he's like, okay, here's where we're at. I'm laying it all out for you guys.
Isn't a house yet. It's an outpost. You know what I mean? It's like a, you know what I mean?
You said heartbreak?
Oh my God, yeah. But you know what I mean? But you got to deal with that, and God puts that on your heart for a reason. And I feel like it's not new heartbreak. You know, it's heartbreak is, I don't want to talk too much about it. It's not my story alone to tell, but my side is, you know, I failed my marriage. And so I had to own up to that. So that's why I had to move out here. So I moved out here and started trying to rebuild, was having a good time, and then, you know, hit a roadblock right there.
And where do you think that roadblock began?
I think that roadblock began with cloud chasing.
In what sense?
I'm a bright light G, so I come out here, I'm out here. And that's sexy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think, but it's not my, we're going to get to it. I don't want to know, but that's not to diminish on that side either. I fucked up, you know what I mean? But,
you mean like cloud chasing is what led to you having an altercation? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Can you break down like what happened that led up to that fight?
I was drunk, and then I felt infringed upon. Yeah, like in terms of my proximity, but I wasn't in my right mind, and so it's on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to get into the mechanics of how that happens, because, you know, so much of this story is about you being a public figure and being in the limelight for so long. Anytime you pop out somewhere, especially on the party tip, the first thing people are going to say is like, let me get a picture, let me take a video. What was it about these particular interactions, like at our bar specifically, that like made things escalate, you think?
I don't know, bro. I have no idea, bro. I'll be honest with you, it's probably just my fault, bro, somewhere. I don't know how. Well, I'm going to figure it out, dog. You're catching me to...
Oh, man. He's breaking my heart. He's breaking my heart. He's like, I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened, but it's probably my fault. Like, if that's the internal dialogue he has about whatever the fuck happened to him, and then he's trying to position himself so that those things no longer happen to him. Like, oh, man. Already, I'm just like... It's true though. He's a celebrity. He's in the space. Everybody's drinking. You know how drunk people get. They're going to poke fun and try to like get in someone's business, and especially being a public figure. And if he is going through a hard time and then just trying to relax and trying to let loose and connect with his roots and connect with whatever in that town, trying to put down some roots for himself, trying to rediscover himself, because like he's kind of never not been in a relationship. He's not really gone his own way for too long anyways, and I think he's really trying to do, like I said, that spiritual pilgrimage thing, and yeah, I think he deserves to have his space respected. I think he deserves to not have anybody hitting on him if he's out and about in public, or anybody trying to accost him or give him a hard time. And maybe it's not smart of him to go out without security or something to that effect, but if he's just trying to be a regular guy, you know, he grew up since he was a little kid in within the Disney sphere, yeah, the bird, that whole iceberg, there's a lot going on there. So for him to just be trying to blend in and do his thing, like, it's almost impossible. It's not possible for him. But it should be. Like, people should be able to just go out and have a nice time, you know, without being accosted. But it seems to me that, you know, they kind of were getting into his space and maybe saying something about him and noticing it was making him uncomfortable. So then they start pushing it, which drunk people do that sometimes, where sometimes it's just fun and games, and it's like we're joking around and whatever, and it can get a little out of hand that way. But this seems very intentional. Like, he maybe was like, oh, don't touch me, guy. Like, you know, he maybe said something. And then that got them kind of worked up and like, oh, what are you, a homophobe? Like, oh, or whatever, you know, like, it's like, it started this sort of heated interaction where he has every right to just have his personal space, and he has every right to be somewhere without somebody coming onto him. If since he was a little child, he had random people touching him and coming onto him, every which way, women, men, everything in between, because it's not even just about gender orientation at this point. Some people are friggin' weird about kids, and when you grow up in that atmosphere, you're already going to feel weird just about intimacy and personal touch, you know, even in a relationship. And maybe this is why he would stay in relationships where it obviously wasn't healthy for either of them, and it wasn't a good thing, but like to get back into that level of intimacy with somebody probably takes a lot for him. It probably takes a lot to let down those walls and build something fresh, you know. So it's not his fault that people are getting in his space and provoking him to a point. Like, that's like a reactive abuse situation too, you know what I mean? So where do you... And if he always just thinks, oh, it's obviously my fault, everything's my fault, you know, it sounds like that's sort of like the script he has playing in his head is whatever it is, whatever happened, it's probably my fault, I'll fix it, whatever, you know, which, yes, it's good to take accountability, but if it's to the point where he thinks that anything that happens is always his fault, like, that's tragic, man, that's tragic.
This is why it's beautiful. I don't know many people be open to this. I don't have answers yet. You know what I mean? I don't have any answers yet. I'm in the middle of it. I'm on the path. You know what I mean? I don't have answers yet. And usually when people come here, they got answers. I have no answers yet. So I'm in the middle of something. Ask your question one more time.
I guess, what about this particular infringement on your privacy?
I'm a Catholic, bro. You know what I mean? I don't fuck with the... God, be careful. Count me now. I'm a Catholic.
What does that have to do with, like you feel like, how does that connect to the...
I don't know. The whole story's not out yet. I don't know what was going on in my head, but it don't matter. I mean, the truth is, I said words not okay to say. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. That's what I mean by being, I'm a Catholic. I'm not supposed to be out here, you know, I'm wrong for what I did, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, probably him getting out and about and drinking is probably not the best idea, considering the situation. But it's better than him being, like, sitting at home drinking alone and using substances alone. You know, like, the latter of that, if you're having that compulsion to self-medicate and to silence the noise, there's many different ways to do it. If he was just trying to get out and find the joy and be around people and get to know his community, like, the community he is intending to try to go and put down roots in, like, he has every right to do that. People have every right to do that. Normal people can go and do that without having people provoking them and trying to get a rise out of them. Like, anybody at the bar having a few drinks, if every time you go to have a bar, there's somebody there going to try to get a rise out of you and try to provoke you, that's not necessarily your fault, right? Like, he does make a good point, like, that he wasn't really going out trying to cause any shit. He wasn't doing anything wrong, and then it escalates. So, yeah, maybe... that's not, like, the drinking isn't helping, but him going and having a drink in public shouldn't always end up leading him to an altercation, you know, and I don't think that every time that it's his fault. I'm sure that over time, there has been times that he's made completely the wrong choice and gotten himself in situations that wasn't okay, and that he had been the aggressor, but with this situation, like, it very much seems like he was just trying to have a nice time with people, enjoying the festivities. It's Mardi Gras, like, everybody's drunk and stupid at Mardi Gras, like, that's the whole point of it. And he wasn't able to do that because he's got people that are going to try to get a rise at him, and he ends up in jail. Like, this is like, yeah, they do it to Bieber too. They do it to certain people because they know the buttons they can push to get the reactions that pays the big bucks. You know, the more outward reactions you can get, the better the video, the better the clip, the better the news cycle, whatever, right? They did it to Haley Joel Osment not long ago, who literally lost everything in some of those fires. At a club, he was day drinking at a ski resort. It was kind of ridiculous. He was doing some recreationals on top of it. Wasn't his best choice, wasn't his best day, wasn't it his best self, but would it have ever led to an altercation if he was just nobody? Would it have ever led to somebody getting a rise out of him or trying to cause shit with him if he was a nobody? If he wasn't somebody that could make people money by making a video of them lashing out and causing a scene? Do you know what I mean? And, like, so that whole, the incentive to provoke as everyone being the paparazzi is yeah, exactly. You guys know, yeah, with how Bieber knows. Bieber has said it. They've said it. They did it to the oldest kid from, exactly, Tony Gunt. That's who I was just talking about earlier too, the Zachary Ty Bryant, which I do want to go into that more too, with how that all went. He had 6 arrests in the last 5 years, and obviously this woman that he's with is not good for him. They're not good for each other. It's a lot of toxicity there. But I think that there's a lot of incentive to be attached to these people, or to be around these people, and to be they can cash out when they're having a struggle. You know what I mean? And there's a little more control. They're able to assert more control over them the more they're lashing out and having a hard time. Do you know what I mean? So the whole thing is very it's incentivizing bullying people basically, and harassing and stalking them, which is kind of messed up. So I mean, not that the drinking or the self-medicating is ever the answer, but he should be allowed to just go and have a nice time without people trying to touch him or trying to get up in his business, simple as that. For anybody, everybody has a right to go and be in a public space and not be sexually harassed or harassed in any way, shape, or form, especially that sexually, And yeah, it is a little weird that he's saying I'm a Catholic or whatever he's saying, but I think he's trying to say he's trying to explain himself without coming off as homophobic, but everybody's already framed him as homophobic, so he's how do I even put this, right? But he's basically saying, well, I'm religious, so I don't believe, I'm against that, or whatever he's trying to say. But it's more than that. It's not really that it's because he's Catholic, it's because of stuff that happened as a kid. And at some point here, he does get into it, so, I mean, we'll let him explain for himself, but already, there was so much more to this interview than what the media was circulating and what people are sharing on social media. That too is just the way that people frame it is so skewed from the truth, and this is why people end up getting the shit end of the stick too, and end up getting more harassed and more bullied and whatever, because a lot of people just regurgitate what they hear and they don't actually investigate, and then they have these opinions of these people that's not accurate. Right away, pretty much anything I saw about it on the socials versus what he's saying, it's completely inaccurate. Right away, he's already taken accountability. He's already said, yeah, it's probably my own fault. I wasn't my best self. I was heartbroken. I was drinking. I was being stupid. He's already laid it all out. Yeah, I did a bad thing. Wasn't good. Wasn't my best time. But everybody's just oh, yeah, he hates gay people, and he's this, and he's that, and he's out of control. Well... It's a little more to it than that. It's not quite that. It's not quite just that. And I know that that's what's going to get the clicks, and that's what's going to get people really riled up about it. But that's not the truth,
How was the experience of, going to jail and everything like that?
Oh, cute, fun, whatever, stupid, Mardi Gras.
What was it like at OPP?
What's OPP?
Orleans Parish Prison.
Oh,
man.
shit. You got all the fucking slick ass names. I don't know, bro. I went in there. I was like, hey, let me get a coffee. They're like, shut the fuck up. We don't give you coffees out here. So, but they were all nice to me, bro. I got cold. They gave me a blanket. Nobody was really talking. It was crowded. It was Fat Tuesday, so it was super crowded. And then it got more crowded and more crowded and more crowded. But that was fun. And then it's pretty cute. There was one dude who popped off bad, but nothing really.
How many people were in the drunk tank on Fat Tuesday?
On Fat Tuesday, it was probably where I was. There's probably 50 of us.
I'm sure everybody recognized you though, right?
Yeah, but everybody's good, bro. Everybody's easy. You know what I mean? They know what it is, really. They know already.
Yeah.
My baggage kind of lands before I get there, kind of thing. Usually, everywhere.
You told me you shared a blanket in there, though.
Yeah, we did. We shared a blanket because there's 50 of us, so there's only so many blankets. But yeah, me and this one, we shared a blanket. He was, we talked. He was a good guy, actually. So usually when you get processed.
So literally, okay, if somebody's actually homophobic and afraid of gay, probably not going to be in the drunk tank sharing a blanket with a dude on a bench. Probably not. So I think that for real right there is just he's not that he has a problem with being close to or around other men in any capacity. He was just snuggling with one in the drunk tank. Sharing a blanket, no problem. So obviously there was more to it. If they were touching up on his leg and grabbing up on him and hitting on him, yeah, that's going to push him. That's going to push him to a point. And especially with what we know. And yeah, exactly. He was in the iceberg sphere, in the Disney sphere, in all of the spheres. Like, it overlaps. Like, I'm not even sure he's on the map yet because of how much overlap and how many different... Let me just actually... I'm going to have a quick look here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not. Hold on. Oh, yeah, you can. Cool. All right. Let me resize this, though. I'm not sure it's even on here just yet. But he's in here. Like, he's right in the mix of all of this, like, all of these blue dots here. Like, we know what that means, right? And we know there was weird stuff with this studio, right? Like, he's right in the mix here. And he didn't end up becoming, like, this kind of guy, this former Disney star that became the evil that trespassed against him. And, you know, with everything that's going on, like, it's all being revealed now. And obviously this whole sphere, this was all happening all around the same time, like when he was a kid. And yeah, I don't think I have him on here yet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fit him in here somewhere, but it's somewhere in here. I've got the Lizzie McGuire and stuff. I'm gonna have to fill out more of this. But some of these Disney kids too, like Bella Thorne's talked about stuff she dealt with growing up on Disney. And it's coming kind of more recently, coming back to the surface. All of them, though, like the oranges are basically people have talked about it. Yeah. I'll have to add them on. It's fine, whatever. it's an ongoing project, right? But obviously I'd covered them before, so it was one of those things that, you know, if it's not on the map, it's probably somebody I've covered. If it's a big name that I haven't added yet, it's because I've done videos and I'm just not sure where to fit it in yet. But the TV movies, somewhere in there, I don't know. I'll have to put them in somewhere in here, some point in the Disney side of things. But yeah, he was in the iceberg thing too. He was in a few different things. I'd have to actually let me just look up his filmography right now, right quick, because I know he was in some other stuff too. And then he ended up in some big movies. Like, he's had a good career. Like, he's done the right things otherwise. But then what did that cost? You know, because now that we're looking at the patterns of things and how things work, for him to be able to go on and continue having a career the way he did versus other people not making it and their careers kind of fizzling off, like, and them not necessarily being any lack of talent or anything like that. So, I mean, kind of makes you wonder what the cost was. And we know in some of those, like, especially the superhero type movie franchises, like the amount of stuff that's coming up in there, like with the Bryan Singer and X-Men, and then you've got you know, what's his name, James Gunn or whatever. He's kind of playing both sides of the field. You know, some of these, you know, I mean, what are the odds that there would be predators surrounding all these movies with all these men in tights? I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense, right? But yeah, so even Stevens early on, yeah, he was in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008. He was in the Transformers. Oh, that movie, Disturbia, was interesting. He's kind of been all over the map that way, too. Almost like Jim Carrey does with, like, he's got sort of his typecasted roles in some ways, but then he's gone, like, the complete other way with more serious roles. The Peanut Butter Falcon, what the fuck was that? And then, yeah, the Padre Pio. I guess that he was, like, really leading into faith, and if that's helping him, you know, good for him. I don't really believe in an organized religion, but if it's something that's helping him through, like, if it helps, that's a good thing, and if it's not hurting anybody, that's a good thing. But yeah, he was in Holes also. That was an interesting movie. That was another interesting movie. It was a good movie though, so it's hard, but it's part of that same here, actually, let me bring that back up. It fits right into some of these weird people right in here that have already been given a bit of a side eye. This Buena Vista Pictures also, not that they're specifically guilty of any wrongdoing, but I've found that a lot of the movies and things that we're mapping end up kind of coming back to that, like that era. There was a lot of weird stuff going on, and yeah, it was a Walt Disney Buena Vista. Actually, here, I'm just going to throw it on here while we're talking about it. Why not? So, you know, I'm kind of giving that another little bit of a side eye now, which sucks because it was a good movie. It's a good book, too. Like, I read this when I was a kid, and I thought it was great. It's a neat story. And, you know, slowly but surely I'm totally obliterating my childhood. But that's okay. Like, we're reading Toy Story now. I love Toy Story. Like, I love Brave Little Toaster the most. That's like one of my all-time favorite movies as a kid. And then Toy Story was basically an inspiration of that, so it was natural that when that came out, however many years later, 5 or 6 years later, that I was totally into it, right? Oh, no, not to him. Where are we going? To Disney. For frick's sakes. I'm going to have to move this. That's okay. It's on the map now, at least. And then he'll go in here somewhere. I'll fit him in here somewhere. But anyway, yeah, like, he ended up having a pretty consistent career throughout, though. And a lot of young stars end up having a lot of trouble going into adult roles. So he was able to segue into that pretty easily. So it kind of makes you wonder. I don't know. And not saying anything had happened or didn't happen. But when you look at the timeline, and then when he started having, like, his breaking down in the first, like, at first, and had first started having struggles and public outbursts and doing his weird public displays, or, you know, not weird, I guess it's avant-garde is the way to describe it, because it's just his own artistic, creative flow, right? But people thought it was weird. People thought he was crazy. Yeah, you know, yo, cats, dogs, rabbits. That's a fun name too. But yeah, so when you look at the timeline of it, and just like the Indiana Jones stuff, like, I've been reading into that more, in between Berg and Lucas, and that they wanted the relationship between Marion and Indiana Jones to be even more provocative, I guess you could say. They wanted her to have been 11, and he would have been, like, late 20s, early 30s or whatever when they first consummated. I guess, I don't know, that's not even the right word either, because kids can't even consent, man. Like, that's so fucked up. But when they had first, Lucas was describing it as having an affair, which is even more fucked up. But, yeah, they're coming together, and it being, like, their early relationship, like, the way that it's supposed to have been framed. So they wanted her to be 11 when they first got together. They ended up settling on her being 15. But that was, like, a whole back and forth, right? And then we know with them, that situation and what was going on with George Lucas and his partner, Francis Ford Coppola. They had the company American Zoetrope together, and the work they did with Victor Salva, who is a convicted predator. And then Coppola continued to support him after he ended up being the executive producer for Jeepers Creepers. So, I mean, it's like you're surrounded, even if it's like in a context of a movie or for a scene of a movie or for the sake of whatever, like, that doesn't mean that kids weren't harmed in the making of that. You know, being in some certain scenes or being in certain storylines is creating a fantasy for other people. You know, like, other people are going to view that in a certain way, and for some of these kids, it's attracting an audience and a fan base that they didn't ask for, that adults around them knew what they were setting up and what they were portraying, or what they were the kind of audiences that they were catering to, but the kids maybe didn't know at the time, and then as they grow up, then they realize, you know, and then that will also cause some damage, you know. But anyways, let's get back to the interview. Sorry, guys.
I'm friends with whoever you're getting processed with. Just the innate reality of meeting somebody before you meet everybody else.
Yeah.
And so the guy I got processed with became sort of a quick buddy. We didn't even talk. I don't know much about him, but just like one fisherman could see another fisherman from afar kind of thing. And we had that kind of connection. And then, yeah, black kid. Shared blanket, and we also shared meals. Like, it was quite intimate, actually. Fuck was his name? I don't even remember. What was his name? I don't remember. Older cat. I don't know what his name was. William, if you're out there, go ahead.
What was the charge they ended up hitting you with?
The charge, I got 2 misdemeanor battery charges, but they might up it to something, whatever. I know they got a DA, very liberal DA, that, who knows what goes on, you know, but I know there's a guy out there who thinks it's hate charges, you know. I'll live with whatever goes on. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, God bless them all, you know.
Have they told you like what the penalty might be for something like that?
There's like a battery charge. I think you go do 6 months, and hate charge would be more than that. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what it is. I got to do whatever it is. I'll do whatever it is. It was no good, bro. My behavior's dirty, ugly, disgusting. So I got to eat it, you know. Yeah.
I know that whenever we first started talking, it was kind of on like the program tip and the AA recovery world.
Yeah, that's when we met.
How long like were you sober for?
I had like 9 months, I think. I had done kava. You know what kava is?
Yeah, like the Polynesian version of beer, but it's not alcoholic.
Yeah, it's kava. It's like some root drink, some kava. So some kava shop opened up in Pasadena. I started drinking kava like probably 9 months ago. So my sobriety ended there, 9 months. So I had 9 months, but that was, 9 months ago. So I've been off for 9 months, like out of it, searching in and out, putting it down, picking it up, reading books, sponsorship, all of it.
I'm more just wondering, like, before, in general, like, what was the longest sustained period of sobriety?
Probably 2 years. I was probably sober for a year before the birth of my daughter into a year of my daughter's birth, and then life became life, and then kava.
Damn.
Yeah.
So kava was the gateway to more, like, regular bevs?
Kava was an acceptance of, like, I had heard people talk about California sobriety and stuff like this, and it started floating around the rooms and shit like that. No, I'm not gonna say his name, but some people that I know, and I was doing camping trips and stuff. Dudes were talking about ayahuasca, spiritual journeys and shit like that. And we're talking about deep, like how to get to God and stuff like that. Joe Rogan, you just get flooded with a whole bunch of info, and as a sober man then, it was like, I remember being on a road trip with a kid, we wound up in Barstow or something like that. Went to an AA meeting, and one of the guys that was in the meeting was, I shouldn't have said it. I said it again. Hey, bear with me, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not on the wagon at all. And so everybody who fucks with that, I don't claim it. I don't want to hurt what you got going on, I know there's people that depended on me and people that look to me to be some kind of sobriety, stability, and like some pillar of this shit. I'm just a man.
Yeah. He's obviously just struggling, and he's looking for the answer of how to deal with the resurfacing trauma too. Because I know you guys, we talked about this lots of times, but for new folks joining us, going into like the late 20s, early 30s especially, and then in the case of, especially when you start having kids yourself too, when you start reflecting on your childhood with a more adult lens, the older you get, the more it can get difficult to reconcile with childhood trauma. And yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a shadow that follows you. And I think that's more the disease, and like the way that we're treating it is improper. The way we've been treating it is improper versus the addiction itself. Like the addiction itself is the symptom of a family rot, a broken family, generational trauma rot or something. Maybe it's not within the family, maybe something outside the family happened, but a childhood rot infection that's festering and all the pus coming out, and they keep putting Band-Aid solutions on it, but the pus keeps leaking out under the Band-Aid, and then it starts to smell, and it starts to just get worse. Like this is where people start to get worse in with self-medication or with certain escapist behaviors, being sometimes dangerous, self-destructive, right? And it's just trying to heal that in a way, and not knowing how, because the system's built broken. Like the system's built to be broken, to punish and demonize the people that are suffering, that had suffered the most in childhood, and to conceal and protect the perpetrators. Like especially in the anonymous meetings, people are basically just sitting around using drugs and alcohol as the excuse to beat their wives or touch their kids or do all this fuck shit, and then talking about how, oh, you're a disease, you're powerless to your disease. Like people that have been victimized, you're powerless to your disease, you're the problem, you're this, you got to hit your rock bottom. You're feeding all this negative shit into someone's ear when they're literally like sitting there listening to these people talk about, and getting their pat on their back of how, oh yeah, I beat my wife, but now I'm sober, so it's fine, or I touched my kids, but now I'm sober, so it's fine. And then you've got all these people in the audience sitting there like, I was touched as a kid and I'm not fine. So that's nice that you're fine and you feel great with your pat on your backs about your Alcoholics Anonymous or your fucking Narcotics Anonymous. That makes you feel better about the fuck shit you did on drugs and alcohol. But then you've got so many people in that room that are doing drugs and alcohol to try to escape and heal from the people that did fuck shit to them. Because there's a lot of people that don't go do all these awful things when they're on drugs and alcohol, you know, that are not hurting kids, that are not harming, you know, and because that's not the excuse. There's an underlying thing there too. There's sadism, there's narcissism, there's mind rot, you know, and some people are just not good people. But there are people that are good people that self-medicate and that have gone through shit in their childhood, and they're trying to do the right things, and they're trying to be the right example, and trying to do all the right stuff. And I'm wondering why it's not working, but it's because those systems, a lot of those groups, it's like they're propping up the most evil, fuck shit people based on titles and money and other stuff. Like it's very hierarchy in a different way. And some of the people they've got leading these groups are the most vile, sexual, deviant people. And then you've got that guy as your sponsor. He's like, well, I don't drink and I'm better and I got a good job and I make lots of money. But you guys don't know that I molested my kids and my sister and my dog and my, you know what I mean? Like, these are the kind of people. They don't tell you everything they did. And they're like, but I'm sober, so you're going to listen to me, and you fell off the wagon, and you're a piece of shit, and you keep coming back, or whatever, you know? Like, the whole thing is really, it's really fucking broken. It's really fucking broken, and people that have done that kind of fuck shit belong in a different room than the people that are trying to heal from that shit, and trying to stay sober, and trying to find better, healthier outlets. Because a lot of these people, too, they're not finding a better, healthier outlet, they're eating themselves to death, you know? Like, Eddie Furlong is a perfect example. He had said something like, oh, well, you know, I put down the spoon and picked up a fork, you know, because they're still not dealing with the underlying issues, going through all these programs, spending all this money at all these different, like, whatever, what do you call them, rehab, resort, whatever situations, and then still not able to deal with it, so then they're eating themselves to death. Well, that's probably not somebody you want as a sponsor either. Is somebody that's just turned around and is replacing one addiction with another. But you've got people that literally they're addicted to porn or gambling or some other thing, that as long as it's not alcohol or drugs, like, you're totally cool, bud. Yeah, come lead the group meetings and come lead the whatever the fuck they're called, the retreats and this bullshit. Meanwhile, you're some sick, sexual, deviant, raging, violent predator. With or without alcohol. Some people are doing shit even without the alcohol, but they'll want to pretend like, oh, it's because of my drinking, it's because of my alcoholism that I still beat my kids when I'm not drinking. Yeah, you know, oh, I'm a dry alcoholic or whatever. Like, they got excuses for fucking everything for the perpetrators, but the people that are really just trying to make it through and are struggling the most and aren't trying to leverage the groups and each other and play all this fucking fake bullshit, whatever, you know, and aren't buying the bullshit, and are struggling financially, like, that doesn't make them a bad person. Where in those rooms, it's very hierarchy with, you know, like, let's go and schmooze and show off our fucking new car, our new this, and talk about what, you know, I don't know, it's a whole competitive thing. Not supportive at all, not healthy at all, not functioning at all, because it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of narcissists pretending they got it together, and then using the people that are actually suffering, the victims, as leverage to prop themselves up. Is kind of what I got from the whole thing in my decades of experience, and yeah, seeing how that works for people. And it does work for some people, but it's a very low success rate for a reason. It's like a 5% success rate, and because the whole system's built on, keep coming back because it works. But then they use each other. They're all using each other. It's a whole, I don't know, it's a whole weird, it's like a cult. It's a cult. It's basically a cult. But then if people speak negatively about it, like, oh, well, you're just an addict and you're just rejecting the process or you're rejecting the steps. Well, that's not the only way. It's not the only way to have a healthier lifestyle and to find better things to deal with trauma, you know? Like, that's not the only answer. And it was written 100 years ago by somebody doing LSD instead of drinking. Like, he needed to stop drinking because he was beating his wife or whatever he was doing, the Bill guy. But then he was just doing LSD or whatever, like, well, psychedelics. I don't know if LSD existed yet, but he was doing psychedelics when he was writing that shit. And then everybody takes it as gospel, like, oh, yeah, thanks, Bill. You're our friend. You're our best fucking friend, buddy. And then you've got them treating people smoking weed like they're a fucking problem. Because Bill said so. Fuck, anyways, I could go on and on for hours. But I hate that when people, like, some of these celebrity kids, especially for somebody in Shia's position, like that's a very unique situation. There is no one size fits all program that's going to work for somebody like him. Like, and putting him in with a bunch of people that had nowhere near the same experience. Yes, maybe they had similar trauma, but nowhere near the similar experience to what he had as a human being. And how the fuck are they going to help him? I'm going to sit here for an hour and listen to everybody bitch and whine about their problems and why they're drinking and the nothing they're doing to fix it. They're just coming here to talk about the problems instead of taking that hour to go do something else, do anything else. Go take a pottery class, go for a run, go fucking watch the sunset. Practice knitting. I don't know, anything other than sitting in a room with a bunch of people that have trauma, that are just sitting in their negativity, bitching about their trauma and using it as an excuse to cause more trauma. Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. And I think we need to be a little more open to people that want to seek other ways of doing that. Because then this is where you have them go back to just self-medicating, because any other way they try to deal with it, it's not okay, right? Where it is okay. You can just go try a different thing. Go try the ayahuasca, man. I don't know. I know that works for some people. Maybe that's not the answer either. But I think we, as a society, should have the right to try other things. We don't need to still be listening to shit written 100 years ago by a bunch of cokeheads. Because that's the other thing. Psychology, all our grandfathers and forefathers of psychology were a bunch of addicts. They were drinking. Like, it was safer to drink alcohol than it was water back then, first off. Like, you'd go to work and there's a barrel of whiskey and you just take a scoop and instead of a water fountain, because the water was bad. You could get, like, cocaine and heroin and children's cough medicine at the corner of in any drugstore. For the longest time, like between the 20s and the 50s or whatever, you literally could just get whatever drugs. So all the forefathers of medicine, addiction, mental health, all this shit, they were a bunch of addicts. But it was okay. It was legalized. And then they turn around and, that generational curse and that trauma coming down the line, well, now everyone's a problem because they're addicts, but literally for 40 years they just had everybody self-medicating. Like, with whatever drugs, with cocaine and heroin and opium and laudanum and blah, 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 blah. Different variations of those same drugs. So, and then you have those people telling you how to better your life or better your psychological balance of that. Like, no wonder there's a psychological imbalance. Everybody was on blow for 50 years. Like, and even going into the 80s and stuff, like, that's always been a thing. But yeah, like, I think that, him having to dance around how he feels about AA and stuff like that needs to go. That needs to change. We should be able to be like, yeah, that works for some people, but here's 25 other ways to do it, and they're also okay. Like, the fact that the court will order somebody to go to this 12-step stuff as part of reforming their alcoholism or whatever, like, that's the answer. That's what we do with people. We just send them over here, corral them over there so they can talk about their nonsense with other people doing nonsense, and then it doesn't really work for people. So, I don't know. That's my own opinion anyway. I kind of just gone on a whole fucking rant, but I've seen it do a lot of damage in a lot of families and doing more good for the people that are abusers and less for the people that are the victims. That if anything, this is where the abusers can go and circle jerk each other and tell each other how great they are, what a great job they're doing, and pat each other on the backs, and then their children don't even want to talk to them. Like, their adult children are like, I'm moving as far the way the fuck as possible. Anyway.
Trying to find it, and Elior. Hold on.
Good. You get me?
So let's get no. It's not like that. So the shit that hurts in terms of me feeling free here now, in terms of my sobriety, is the guys that were under me, that I was sponsoring, that depended on me, and their lives were in precarious spots that I was sponsoring, that I'm going to deal with. You know what I mean? That shit hurts the worst. You know what I mean? If you ever been in this thing, you know what sponsorship is, and it's a big responsibility, and there's a lot to deal with, bro. A lot to deal with. I'm going to be honest with you, man, and this is crazy stuff to say out loud, I guess, but I need to say it out loud, is, bro, I grew up in these rooms, So I've probably run a program since I'm 18 or something like that. Yeah. In and out. Longest I ever had, probably this 2-year clip, but it wasn't the best part of my life. And this is what I'm dealing with out here, is like, I don't really know how to get to joy. and run program, like as rigid as they run it. And the deeper, and this is not excuses, but the deeper in the program you get, you wind up in Catholicism, you know.
So you feel like the restrictive nature of traditional recovery often leads you into a religious box?
No, I feel like the restrictive nature of recovery leads you into unhappiness.
Because
it's rigid.
And you feel like you're missing out on something.
And there's a mysticism, there's a mystery that's inherent to health.
Because you feel like the rigid nature of it makes you feel like you're depriving yourself of something.
Yeah.
And that would be the breadth of human experience.
Yeah.
Yes. All of that. Exactly. Also that. Like, that was well put. That there is something missing, and they rely on that. That's why you have to keep coming back, because you're never actually getting anything out of it. You're never getting anything out of it. You're sitting there, you're laying your soul out bare, you're talking about all the things you did or didn't do. You're sitting in the room soaking up each other's negative energy. You're making a whole negative cherry pie with each other an hour every day for some of these people. Like, oh, if you're struggling more, you need to come more to our negative harvesting, energy harvesting rituals. Like, the worse that you're doing, the more you need to come and be in this shit love fest, you know? And it is very restrictive. It is like anybody that's going to suggest any other ways of doing things, if it doesn't fit their little rigid whatever process, like that it's not the right way. And, oh, well, you can't do it that way because that's going to lead you back to doing drugs. Well, being in these meetings is going to lead me back to doing drugs more than anything fucking else. I don't think I've ever wanted to do drugs more than having to be at a fucking meeting. Like, I've been to meetings with people. I've been dragged, like, it was something like people in my family have been all about it, and it didn't fuck all for them, because they're the most toxic and shitty people I fucking know are the ones that are been going to AA for a long time, if we're being honest here. So, like, he's definitely, yeah, like, there's a lot missing for him here. I'm gonna just, I don't know what I just did, but it kind of readjusted it. It looks weird now. But obviously there's something missing for him because of, like, what I was saying too, with young people, child stars, especially, like, people, influencers, whatever, people living a different kind of life than the average. Doesn't mean that they're special or anything like that, but it does mean that they're having a different experience, that the one-size-fits-all rigidity doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Same with mental health system. Like, there's so many, like, they want it to be this one-size-fits-all, and it's just not the way it is. Everybody has a personal trauma experience, so they have to have a personal healing journey. And we need to be a little more supportive and understanding of that, and stop putting this one-size-fits-all on somebody and then wondering why it's not working for them, and acting like they're the problem because your one-size-fits-all Band-Aid isn't working, and maybe they need, like, I don't know, what's fucking another word for a Band-Aid, like gauze. They need gauze instead of a fucking Band-Aid brand Band-Aid. You know what I mean?
Which is joy.
Which is not just joy. I know program dudes that experience the joy I'm talking about. I remember how it first came in. There's a different kind of joy I'm talking about. I'm talking about a different kind of unhinged, maniacal joy. I'm not talking about giggles. Like, I'm talking about freedom. I'm talking about complete, something like a existential, like something further than just like giggle, like the normie joy.
Like flying on the highway.
Like what? Yeah.
On a motorcycle.
No, further.
Okay.
Further than that. I'm further than that. Is what Mardi Gras is.
So it's like a chaos therapy?
No, it's can I read something to you?
Yeah.
You fuck with G.K. Chesterton?
I don't know who he is, but I sound like I fuck with him.
So G.K. Chesterton, this is big OG stuff, yeah? He's a real bandito in this thing. Yeah, go do whatever you want. In terms of this Christian shit, he's real bandito, this guy Chesterton. Let me read this to you, yeah? And it speaks to me. Mysticism keeps men sane. I'm not trying to be dramatic, yeah? I heard some motherfucker say I was performative today, you know? It bothered me.
Doesn't seem like it to me, man.
All right, here we go. Mysticism keeps men sane. As long as you have mystery, you have health. When you destroy mystery, you create morbidity. The ordinary man has always been sane because the ordinary man has always been a mystic. He has permitted the twilight. He has always had one foot in earth and the other in fairyland. And I feel like that guy. Like, I feel like I want to encourage the luminosity, bro. I'm out here to fucking get it. It's Mardi Gras.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is not an advertisement, by the way, but did you hear that about a year ago, we bought back our old show, All Gas, No Brakes? Remember, from 2019 to 2020, my first show? We bought it back, as well as the entire catalog of unreleased All Gas, No Brakes.
I'm just gonna skip this ahead. This, like, is... It's not an ad, but it's him talking about, yeah, his tour and his other show and whatever. And if you want to check him out, check out Channel 5. Actually, I should probably link it. I think I linked it in the description, but if not, I will do that. But we'll just get to the thing here.
Would you see...
Oh, for frick's sakes. Alright, good enough.
Ah, shit. I done fucked up and forgot to tell people that I'm also going to Pittsburgh. When you're in that, like, state, that, like, mystic party state, do you feel true joy?
I feel connected. You know what I mean? I feel connected to people. I take a bunch of pictures like I'm a golden retriever or a governor or something like that because I like what it does for people's lives. I remember trying to get Mike Piazza's autograph, motherfucker. You know what I mean? For my whole life, Mike Piazza.
Were you waiting outside the fence?
Every day, this guy, bro. We used to go to Dodger games. Big Brothers program used to give these tickets out. You go fucking Dodger game. Me and all of them dudes would be sitting in the parking lot. Brent Butler always signed. Hideo Nomo always signed. Mike Piazza.
Just a cold heart.
Mike Piazza, you're a bitch, bro.
How many times do you think he rejected signing up?
Every day, bro. I used to go out there 90 times probably. Rejected me 90 times. So what it did was, I'm going to sign them all. So when I got on, it was like, yo, fuck Mike Piazza.
So you don't turn down any pictures?
Never. Never, ever. Not unless I'm with my kid or I'm eating some food or I'm chasing some ass.
Because you feel like you're helping people, validating.
Yeah, what did God do it for? Why did he do it? Why did he do this to me? You know what I mean? What is the purpose, bro? Like, why did he do this for you, Andrew?
In terms of giving me
In terms of, why did God do it, bro? What did he do? Why? All right, so shut up for a second. What are you good at, Andrew? Being Andrew, doing this shit. I'm good at this thing that I do, yeah? All right, okay, we got that. What can you do with that, what you're good at? What can you do? That's the arithmetic. What are you good at? All right, now, how can you help people with that? So I take pictures of people because that shit, help their day. Maybe motherfuckers like, hey, man, can't make my tax season. Hey, my fucking mom's diabetic. But who knows, bro? You don't know what people's problems are, you know? Just crashed my car. I was jogging the other day. Dude couldn't believe I was...
Oh, right on. Thank you. Damification. Trying really hard to not to LaBeouf my Shire. That's funny. That's funny. Thank you for that. It's good to get the light comedic relief amidst the all the darkness when we're in the rabbit holes here. So I appreciate that. That's funny. And thank you for that. Thank you for your super chat. Yeah. The Big Brothers and Sisters, it is a little weird. I didn't know that he was involved in that, but probably because his parents, like, he was sort of like he's kind of on his own. His dad was kind of a fuck show, if we're being honest. So I think he was probably trying to get in, and, it was supposed to be something like enriching for him as a kid, because I don't think you need to be an orphan to go to the Big Brothers and Sisters or the Boys and Girls Clubs or whatever. But that is where a lot of these weirdos find kids, like, when they're looking for kids just on the street and not ones that are doing the auditions. Like, that was more in the 80s and 90s, but like Brad Renfro was found at a Big Brothers thing or something like that, or maybe it was a DARE program. Was it? I think it was. I don't even know. Eddie Furlong. One of them was a Big Brothers and Sisters. They were at like a Boys and Girls Club thing, and had a casting director come and approach them there. When they're wanting kids that have like a little more of a rough upbringing, because they're looking to put them in a gritty role. It's better to have one that's actually lived it than to act it, I guess. So I don't know, but I mean, I think it's still just showing that he had a bit of rough situation if he was put into that program. Yeah, I did do a video a while ago, which maybe it's a good time to circle back to that, especially with everything coming out in the files and stuff now, and to investigate a little further. Because I do think it's possible. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, but the birthdays, and oh, but this, and oh, the paperwork, that. Well, because nobody can fudge paperwork ever. It's never happened. It's never happened in the history of all time that people could pay some money and fudge some paperwork. You know, what did Epstein had like 12 different identities, like 12 different passports. So I think that it's very possible that if you were going to try to separate and reassign or have children be raised in other families or whatever, and them not really know, like there's ways to do all that, especially if you have money. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, she could just be full of shit also, just basing it on some stuff that she knows about to do with him and Epstein or whatever. So obviously, you know, do your own research, draw your own conclusions, but I think that the things that people are saying, like, that are discrediting her for, are all very possible. They're like, there's no way her birth certificate said this, or, oh, their birthdays, they have different birthdays, they can't be twins, because, you know, paperwork can't be changed after birth, or after, you know what I mean, like, all of that is possible. I don't know if he's even aware that she exists. I'm not sure. Like, I guess we'll maybe see if he ends up talking about it, but I'm not sure. Because they are kind of trying to bury her story too, which I don't know. I'm not sure if that makes it even more confirmed, or if it's like, I don't know. She's spreading too much misinformation without proof. Like, I don't know. I'd have to revisit that now, and then yeah, especially with more that we know now. Things are obviously shifting and changing. We know that Epstein was really into eugenics and breeding designer babies and stuff like that. Like, there was a lot of interactions relating to that. And, like, if you're having babies made in a lab, you gotta have them documented somehow. And all those documents would probably be false because, I don't know. I don't exactly know. That's still, like, there's so much going on there. And, like, I came across they were sending links back and forth from this site, and so I just went to the main site and started looking through, and it was like a do-it-yourself wiki page for genetic engineering for rich people. It's kind of fucked up. So if they're able to do all that, they can have their own lab, make their own babies, their own designer babies, and they're all about twins too. Like, it seems like in Hollywood, like, there's a lot going on there. And the way that the adoptions already were happening, there was already a lot of weird stuff there. Like Nicole Richie is not the child of Lionel Richie, and when you read into that story, it's a little weird. So I definitely, the things that people are discrediting her for, I believe are very possible things, but there are other parts of it that I'm not 100% on. But the paperwork thing, like, that's like the least of the worries if you're trying to have illegitimate children be removed and put over somewhere else, under someone else's name, you know, like, that's the easy part when it comes down to it, right?
Street, which I was flattered by, but then he fucking crashed his car into a pole, and I thought, oh my God, bro. You know?
Yeah.
How do you help that guy?
How much of your life have you been living like this for, in terms of people taking pictures with you, like living as a public figure? Did it start when you were 18, or was it younger than that?
Man, I was on even Stevens shit was like popping hard. If you were a broke kid in America, everybody watched Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. You know what I mean? It was like everybody would just sit at home and watch that thing. So I grew up with everybody. We all grew up together, and that's what it is. So I know what that is. It'd be like me running into Will Smith. Give me a picture. I grew up with you. You owe it to me. You're my uncle.
That's how I feel about Will Smith too.
He's my fucking uncle, bro. It doesn't matter what I don't give a shit. It's my fucking Uncle Will. Like everybody else in America, don't act like, you know, it's just what it is. So I'm in this weird category of, I have this familiarity with people, and yet I'm trying to do this artist thing, and yet, but it's deeper than that, because it's like family. You meet people, they don't give a fuck about art. People just want to hug you because they're your cousin in a weird way.
It kind of goes back to something you mentioned earlier, which is like, you know, there are people who like cross boundaries as a public figure, but then you also want to please people.
Yeah.
So how do you walk that line?
Well, you got to be authentic, or, you know, otherwise you go to hell, which, you know, I don't want to speak too much about it, but I know intimately about people around me, you know what I mean? You got to keep it authentic, I think. And I think, you know, I'm Robin Hood, kind of. I don't know. I've always been kind of, I don't know, man. Maybe it's like I got this Grey Goose sneaker soul. Does that make sense?
No.
Do you know what Grey Goose sneaker is?
No, I just...
Fake dirty sneaker?
They're kind of like
They're like
Starburys.
really wealthy, fake dirty sneakers.
No, I didn't know about this.
I don't know, something about it feels too close to home for me to ever wear, but so intrinsically true. I grew up poor, and then I got rich as fuck early, you know? Rich to me was $8,000 a week, which is what I was getting paid on Even Stevens. That's great fucking stupid money, bro.
Yeah.
You're rich. So for me, I never thought about money again after 8,000 a week. I thought, I am fucking balling. Everybody quit their jobs. Everybody got houses. So that alters your perspective.
You grew up in Echo Park?
Echo Park before that. And then we couldn't afford to stay in Echo Park. When the riots happened, Echo Park changed. The police force dissolved. There was a whole Rampart Division police. The whole Echo Park I knew disappeared. And it was replaced by Echo Park now.
Hipsters.
I'm not going to say nothing, but it's different. And it lost whatever was there before. And there's pockets, but a lot of us moved to Boyle Heights. A lot of us moved to Bakersfield. A lot of us moved to Tahunga, Sunland, Reseda. If you had a little scratch, you made it to Burbank. You know, that was like Beverly Hills for the people that got pushed out of Echo Park. And so we went to Bakersfield first, and then my dad was in Tehachapi. He had to go to prison. That's why we were in Bakersfield. My dad went to Tehachapi for a while. My mom was selling fabric out of Bakersfield, made some scratch, moved us closer. We wound up in Sunland, Tahunga, and that's where I sort of grew up there, like from 9 to getting on. And then 8 to 9.
So it really was like a luck of the draw thing, or just talent randomly.
No, I won the lottery. What the fuck is talent, Andrew? I won the lottery, fool. I completely won the lottery. Dude, I won the lottery. I won a scratch off. It's like that. It's like I won a scratch off lottery. There's no such thing as talent at all. Do you believe in talent?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I think as an interviewer, like listening is a talent. But I do look back at certain things.
That's a skill.
Okay, so talent would be like juggling, or
which is also a skill.
Being able to exhale for 2 minutes straight without
which is
inhaling.
also a skill.
So then, by that criteria, I guess there's no talents.
Correct.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way of putting it, because it's true. It's true. Like really, what like for certain shows and characters, like anybody could really do it, and it would still be a good thing. You know what I mean? Like it comes down to the writers and the story that's being told and the depth of the character that's being portrayed by that person. So acting on its own isn't necessarily a skill, but when you get to like the improv acting, like with Jim Carrey, that I would say is like a talent. He is a talented comedian, you know, which yeah, like I guess we may as well touch on that one. I'm pretty sure it's just a stand-in, and if anything else, like, it's more like a social experiment thing. Like, I kind of said what I thought about it in that post. I think that's what's being purported now, that it was just a stand-in, because, like, yeah, for me, I'm like, well, it's very unlikely he got plastic surgery, because he's a very facially expressive comedian, actor. And he had already said, like, 10 years ago, he didn't want to be the Jim Carrey character anymore, that wasn't him, and he was trying to explore himself, and that was 10 years ago. So I think that if it was an important award that he didn't want to snub the award show, but didn't want to have to go, that like that's what a stand-in is for, you know, like there's stand-ins for on the set and for different purposes, stunt doubles for different purposes. But if you watch the movie, Drew Barrymore did a movie called The Stand-In. That will be very enlightening for you, especially for those of you just kind of freshly awakening. She was saying something with that movie, and I guess that's why it didn't make it very far. Why it kind of got buried really quick. You don't hear about it. But that was a great movie. It's hilarious. It's a great movie as it is. But I believe she was really trying to tell us something with that movie. And as soon as I saw the Jim Carrey stuff, I thought, oh yeah, it's just a stand-in. That's fine. Big deal. But I think it's an opportune time for people to be. Like, a lot of fresh conspiracy-minded people, like, people that are just fresh to it, are looking at it thinking that it's some big conspiracy or some big crazy, like, oh, he's cloned. Like, okay, yeah, I guess, I don't know, but I think there's still, like, people are trying to figure out what is and isn't conspiracies, what's worth looking into, what's a distraction, you know? Because for me, I just, like, it was nothing. But between the Shia stuff and Jim Carrey, like, I've covered them both around the same time several years ago in the Not Crazy, and with both of the things popping off at the same time, I thought I may as well say something about it. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. But this is a good point, because, like, yeah, and when you think about with the industry, a lot of people are getting the jobs because of their friends or the nepotism or the they're willing to give something that another actor might not be, you know? Like some people's parents are willing to sell their kids and some people's aren't, you know? And I think that makes a difference too. So it's like, yeah, he won the lottery, but he also kind of was thrown to the sharks, you know, at the same time for the sake of $8,000 a week, which you know, when you start to really actually realize what these kids were making, it's not really that much in the grand scheme of it. Like, yeah, that's a lot of money to any normal person, but for the hours they work and the demand and how much, like, the different appearances and how much it affects and impacts their life, I don't think you can really put a dollar amount on that. But, like, and you know, maybe that is like every $8,000 a week's pretty decent money, especially for a kid, especially for anybody at this time, even now, even in this economy now. But you know, for the way that it impacted his life, the kind of people it put him in touch with, and that he was surrounded by, you know, there's so many other layers that people don't consider. That is that money worth it? You know, how does that money taste at the end of the day, right?
Only push-ups.
So the Even Stevens thing just hit random.
No, it didn't hit random. I was prepared for the moment. My dad was a hustler. He was taking me to comedy clubs all the time. I was talking shit to adults all the time. When I got to meet a casting director, I knew how to talk shit to adults. So
is somebody having a hard time in the chat? You're having a hard time being nice and getting along with others? Like, we're having a nice talk here with everybody, and then you get somebody comes in that does not know how to communicate with other human beings. Like, did you just roll out of the barn there, buddy guy? You got a problem? You got a little personal problem? Yeah, you can just see your way out there too. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important too that he can recognize that, yeah, that's what he got big for, and he knows like that was a big deal and important for a lot of people, like, growing up, but that it didn't really make him that special. Like, that didn't mean he was talented. It didn't mean anything, you know. He just had kind of won the lottery, right? So I guess the way it's a healthy way to look at it in his mind, because I think some people, it can totally go to their head too, and then when they realize later that they're not special, it destroys them, you know, when they realize that, oh, it was something else that the adults liked about them and not because they were the most funniest talented kid, you know. It's like people will butter you up and say all the things you want to hear when they're trying to get you to say yes to whatever project or contract or whatever, right?
Kind of were molded by your upbringing to be in a position to do something.
I did enough push-ups.
And you said you first got into the rooms around 18.
The AA rooms?
Yeah.
No, my dad grew up in the room. I learned how to smoke cigarettes in AA rooms.
Well, that explains a lot. Yeah. So, pretty much, just to confirm everything I just said about AA, he's really fucked up, because, yeah, his dad grew up in the AA rooms, he was an AA fucking guy, and, yeah, we see how that turned out for him. But as long as in the rooms he had a good image, then it didn't matter. It didn't matter if he was a shit father, a sexual deviant, raging asshole, as long as he looked good in the rooms, right? Right, Shy? You know, I know. It's okay, buddy.
I was in AA when I was, before I ever got on. My dad was a junkie my whole life, so then, and God bless him, the fool ain't no more. For real.
Yeah.
He's clean, I'm not. G shit, bro. G shit. Go ahead, Dad.
What do you think has been, like, behind your decision to get sober every now and again?
Usually, I've been forced to get sober by the court system, usually. And then women get scared, you know? So then you gotta stay sober for the girl.
So you feel like most of your decision to, like, lay off the drinks was external factors?
Yeah, the business, the job, holding on to the career, holding on to the girl, holding on to family, holding on to fear and all the shit, people around you. You know what it is when the walls close in. You just want to calm it down. So you make a bunch of decisions that are inauthentic because you just want to calm everything down.
Especially when you provide for other people.
Especially when you're the racehorse, yeah, for sure. Then you gotta, then it's more than that, you know what I mean?
Thanks again, buddy. Damification. I mean, I think it's a good chance there was a stand-in used for that, because I think he was done with acting like 10 years ago. Like, he was over it. He's somewhere painting. He's off in a cabin somewhere, probably in northern Canada, doing some mushrooms and painting his fabulous paintings. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I never watched the Sonic movie, so I actually don't know about that. I don't know about that. but I think there's a good chance, especially with like, it's a character playing a character, you know. So I think there's a good chance that he had agreed to that, but it's like his stunt double went, you know, or his stand-in went to do it. But if you watch, like I said, if you watch the Drew Barrymore, the stand-in, that will tell you a lot about what I think about Jim Carrey currently. That's like, that movie is perfectly explaining, you know, and in other cases where the celebrities don't seem like themselves anymore, and beyond it being some like Ozempic transformation or some plastic surgery, that it just doesn't seem like them. Like the Avril Lavigne thing. Like, I think for the most part it was still Avril Lavigne, but I think that especially for people like in the music industry, it's such a taxing job. Like, you're doing like 50 shows in like a tour, and it's like every other day you're doing a show, or every single day you're doing a show. Like, all that shit is taxing, and I think eventually you're gonna have issues or need to take a mental health day or have a break, and they got to have somebody that can keep the show going, you know, somebody that's going to go and show up and do the press junkets, or show up and do whatever other tour stuff, whatever appearance. Some stuff, it's just an appearance and you're just waving, you know, you're at a baseball game waving, and like, that's a job that somebody else can get hired to do. Like, why do you think there's so many impersonators? Why do you think the impersonators are even a job? And yeah, they'll do it for fun, for parties, for whatever, in general, but like, how do you think that became like a job thing? Because probably that would have been illegal at first, you know. You'd think that if somebody's trying to personate another person as a job, that's illegal. Well, unless they can make use of it, unless those people can make use of that, right? So if you have some illness or something that comes up and you can't cancel the show, or you can't cancel that appearance or whatever, like that, you got to have somebody you can call in for that, you know. And I believe that exists. So, we know that exists. We know stand-ins exist. So, watch that movie, though. Watch Drew Barrymore's The Stand-In. It gives you a whole different perspective of like Hollywood, and how an image of somebody is used, and what it means, really, you know. Like, what that really means in Hollywood. Because if they can just replace you with another person, they will just as easily do that. You know, if you don't want to show up for the thing, somebody else will show up in your place then. And they're going to say what they're going to say. And either you're not going to like what they have to say, or you're going to come say it yourself, you know. I think in some cases that's what happens too. That it's a contractual agreement. So it's like, well, are you going to show up for yourself? Or are we going to put in whoever in your place? And you're not going to like what they say or do about it, you know. Even like that the Black Mirror episode with Salma Hayek. I forget what it's called and what season it was. But pretty much where like and now with the AI, like we're going to do what we want with your likeness because we own you. You're under contract with us, so you're either going to go with it or we will go with it for you, you know. And I think that's why Amanda Bynes has gone such a sideways way and changing her hair all the time. She got the face tattoo and all that, because I think there's that one interview that really just did not seem like her, and I think a lot of people felt that same way, that there was something weird there, that they thought she was cloned or something. Everybody goes, oh, she's cloned. Well, maybe there's clones, but I think it's more likely it's a stand-in, and the parents had hired somebody that just looked exactly like her and could play the part. Like, there's that girl on TikTok right now doing the Amanda Bynes that looks exactly like her, sounds exactly like her. Like, there are doppelgangers. They exist, and if they're offered enough money to play a person the same as any actor would, why wouldn't they? You know, if that's what they want to do, that's just what it is, right? So, I think, yeah, check out that movie. She was making a statement with that movie. It was a comedy, and it was very great. Like, it was a great little comedy, heartfelt little, you know, all those warm and fuzzies you get from a good old Drew Barrymore comedy. So it's worth watching anyways, but also she was saying something. She was saying something with that movie. Like, she just wanted to go make her chairs. She wanted to go shake her chairs and not do the thing anymore, you know? Where Jim Carrey wanted to just go paint his pictures and not do the fucking thing anymore. He even said it at this one speech, was like, I was sick, which is funny because it's very fitting for this. But he had said, I was tired of shaking my breasts for Mardi Gras beads or whatever, or flashing my breasts for Mardi Gras beads. And he just meant, like, yeah, like doing the horse and pony show for the world, right? Like doing his Jim Carrey character for everybody all the time. Because that's not really him. Like, he was putting a character. He was a character the whole time. Because people, even actors, are playing a character of themselves. Like, you don't see the actual person. Like, when they're out and about and doing whatever, they're very rarely getting a glimpse at who they actually are as a person, unless it's like a hidden camera, surreptitious recording of somebody, you know what I mean? Like, for the most part, they're still playing a part even if they're not acting in a movie, you know what I mean? Like when they're on the red carpet, they're still playing a part. They're still putting on a positive PR image thing, you know?
Notice my personal experience, like when you're going through a super hard time, it's really best to put the bevs down.
Yeah.
Because when you're drinking to cope with sadness, oftentimes it can spiral into something deeper.
Yeah.
Because you're just delaying processing of those sad feelings for a long time. And eventually you're going to get to that brick wall where you're like, I got to face this shit.
Yeah. And I understand the context with which you said it, and also like the assumption one makes when a man gets divorced and is publicly sober and then publicly drunk and then fighting people in the street, getting arrested, trying to come back, trying to earn the bureaucratic Hollywood shit, trying to get back on. All of these things that are just kind of things that don't really fucking matter, just kind of these floating things that are kind of, who gives a fuck about all this shit? You know what I mean?
I guess it only matters if you care about it.
Here's what I care about, my daughter. I care about my daughter. And I was in a situation with, I can't speak too much about it. We were deeply unhappy, bro. We had a lot of resentment. I made a lot of like mistakes early on. Look at this ladybug. I made a lot of mistakes. Oh shit, a dead ladybug? What's that? No, she's alive.
She's still alive. She's been through a little bit here.
I made a lot of mistakes early on before we tried to have baby. I had violated trust in a big, big way. And then we tried to use program, albeit one-sided, to try to fix it, and it was impossible. And we both became very unhappy. And it's not good to be unhappy around a baby. It's not good to be unhappy around kids. But yet it's important to be proximate. You must be around. And this became quite a weird Tetris. You understand?
Yeah. The person you're with is pushing you to do program.
No, sir. No. I loved program for a very long time. And yet, I am a big God boy, you know? I'm big, and I found God through program. So, I don't know, I'm on a circuitous path. My path isn't over. I'm still in the middle of it, but I'm on the path. You know what I mean? I'm not just out here being debaucherous. I don't know if I'm drinking that to be cool on your Channel 5 fucking cool fucking let's get it type of shit, or if I'm drinking that because I like want something to drink right now, or if I want to be drunk. I don't know why I'm drinking that right now. I can't tell you why. And the truth is, I'm so fucking, I don't give a fuck no more. You know, I'm just like, I'm just done with the self-analytical shit. It doesn't bring happiness.
In terms of deep introspection about
Bro,
why.
every time I think about me, I'm unhappy.
Like thinking about yourself?
I think it's true all around. I think it's just true. Every time a person thinks about themselves, they're unhappy.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Sitting around.
Just fucking self-reflection, all this navel gate, you're just gonna be unhappy. This helps me just like get out on town.
Externalize.
Bro, I just fucking fuck it all. I'm no longer no Shia LaBeouf celebrity, hold on to this thing, worry about the next job, none of that. I just go out and I go listen to music. Feels good right now. And I'm not hurting nobody. There's 2-3 people I hurt, I'm gonna deal with that. God bless you guys, that's my fault. I'm gonna deal with you, on me. But that's the amount of interactions I've had in Mardi Gras. Bro, I must have met 20,000 people. 20,000 good interactions and 3 bad interactions. I'm gonna sign up for it still. It's like playing blackjack at a casino. I see you making uncomfortable moves.
No, I'm just moving forward.
Okay, go. All right.
No, but I'm thinking like, you know, you're going to jail for fighting when you're out drinking. Is that not a wake-up call of like, damn, dude, like...
Nah, because it wasn't bro, I'm not a fighter, bro. These people are clout chasers.
But I'm saying going to jail, like, have you thought like, damn, maybe if I wasn't drinking, that wouldn't happen? Like, I gotta
Who gives
chill.
a fuck, though? It's another experience.
Yeah.
Jail will be another adventure.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? It's cool.
That's like the Hunter S. Thompson viewpoint.
Who gives a fuck? Yeah, I'm with God, bro. I just move with God. God's gonna move me around.
Yeah. And you feel like you found God through AA.
Yeah.
Whenever they talked about the higher power, I always put it as like my inner child, like my 8-year-old self, like full of curiosity, who never even thought I'd be at a bar until 6 in the morning. You know, it's like imagine him watching you doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I swear
you're
it's
gonna
that.
call the same guy again at 7 in the morning.
Yeah,
you know, like that kid would be like, "What do you mean? You have a successful YouTube channel. You support your mom. Go get some sleep." And like that ended up sort of being like my big homie was my little self. But I know for some people,
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that. I like that way of looking at it. The higher power is your inner child. That's a nice way of looking at it. Because it should be. Like, that should be your inner compass. Because, you know, I think a lot of people knew exactly what they wanted in life when they were little kids. And before the world told you it was wrong and what you needed to do to fit this criteria of success or fitting into society of what the normal route is. Like, there's a certain things you're supposed to hit along the way, you know, certain benchmarks or whatever. And, you know, that's kind of a neat way of looking at it. I think that some of the hobbies and stuff we liked as kids, some of the stuff we were doing as kids, that there was more purity and wholesomeness there. And there's no wonder with what he said, like, to look at himself, it makes him miserable. Like, a lot of people probably look at their life and it makes them miserable. And yeah, because they're not doing what their higher power wants them to do, you know? And I'm not saying, like, that you gotta go finger paint or whatever. But, like, painting, you know, Jim Carrey is doing the painting thing. Like, Shia had tried doing different art installation type things. I think there's stuff that brought us joy as kids that should just be okay. Like, if you're not bringing any harm to anybody, if you're not hurting anybody, you're not causing any ruckus, I think that there's more power in doing some of the things that would make our inner child happy, you know, or make them proud, you know, to be the adult that your inner child needed, like that you needed as a kid to be that adult is powerful. I think to look at it from that lens is it's an interesting way more than looking at it as like a god, you know, because I don't really believe in organized religion. I think that that's just as messy as the AA stuff for its own reasons also, you know. But yeah, that's an interesting way of putting it. Like, let your inner child be your conscience, you know, your inner conscience, which is cool. I like that. My little homie is my big homie. Yeah, I love that. Love that, Jennifer Lazo.
Like a God thing.
I like that.
Yeah. You think God's like a monotheistic singular deity?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in the Trinitarian.
Yes, I love that. A fort in the woods, yes. Like, I want to make a tree fort. I want to live in a fucking tree fort one day. That would be cool. That'd be really cool. And like a real one, you know, that's got enough of the comforts of home or whatever still. But, like, why not? Why can't you just have a fort in the fucking woods? Why can't you? Why not? Why can't I just have a little smoke shed in the woods? Like, you know, maybe you want to just go out there and whatever. I don't know. Have a little fire. You know, do a little sketching in the woods in your fucking fort. Who cares? Like, why not? Like, why not? Nobody's saying you can't. Yeah, a lot of people will say that it's weird or have their own little opinions about it, but I bet they will not be feeling as much joy as you are chilling in your fort when they're sitting there in their fucking house doing their adulting, whatever, that they think is supposed to make them happy. They're just, like, acting out what their image of a happy, successful adult is, and you're just chilling in the woods in your little fort, having a nice time. And yeah, I mean, that's what we all want, isn't it? It's unconditional love and safety and stability. A lot of us didn't have that as kids either, you know. It's like a lot of people just having a sense of safety and peace and calm in the home is very important. But friggin' right, who cares? Why not? Why can you not? Like, why not have a fort in the woods or whatever, or a tree fort or whatever? And I think that a lot of people get to reconnect with that when they do start having kids and they're able to kind of connect in the middle, and it makes it okay again. Like, yeah, all right, we can play Legos and play with your kid or something. Or yeah, you're building the fort and it's for the kid and whatever. But you don't have to wait to have kids to do that stuff, you know? You can just do what you want to do. You have your little arts and crafts, hobbies, whatever. I took up candle art for a bit. Like, I bought candles and I would play with the dripping on the candle and onto the thing, and it would kind of drip down onto like a little glass, whatever I started using as the candle holder thing. And I had a whole thing that it turned into this whole thing. It ended up getting busted and it moved and whatever. But it was a pretty cool thing, like a sculpture. That it was just from putting different candles in there and letting it melt down and like cutting it certain ways so that the next trickle will come down a different way and go down a different path. Like, I kind of got into that for a bit. That was fun. It was just silly and it was for nothing. It was for no reason whatsoever, but I found joy in that and that was fun. Who cares? And I think my inner child liked that. I don't know if it was really to do with that, but little stuff like that, like little projects like that to have that people will think you're a total fucking weirdo, but it's not their fucking business anyway. It's not their joy to have. It's your joy, right? You don't need to have the same joy as other people, and that's why people find it so hard to find joy. They're like, why do all these people, they're finding joy with this thing, but I don't? Well, find your own joy. You know, you're allowed to do your own joy. You're allowed to do what makes you happy. And again, obviously, as long as it's not hurting anybody or yourself, it's not self-destructive or whatever, then fuck, who cares, right?
Yeah, I'm a Catholic, full blown.
Yeah. I got baptized Catholic. I just haven't really followed it much.
I get it, and if I had probably come up like you, I'd probably shuck and jive too. You know what I mean? I didn't come up that way. I came up with my dad was in the Mongols. My mom was a hippie. We had no God in the house. We had a whole bunch of religious art. My mom loved art, so I had a whole bunch of Caravaggios and shit in the house. We loved art, but we never read the Bible or nothing like that. And then I got bar mitzvahed. I wasn't into that shit at all.
Big internet lore is also that you're like down from a hood in LA.
It's true.
Can you elaborate?
Harpies 13, my key holder's Conejo. It happened through a film. I was prepping a movie. I asked if I could. He told me what the requirements were. I said yes. We love each other, all of us. We are all, most of us fathers. Most of us are trying to live good lives. Most of us are God-led.
Did you have to get like jumped in or anything?
Nothing silly like that. No, come on. When I joined, it was sort of, I was 36, and it was like they had already done all the rowdy for so many years that I'm kind of the T-shirt salesman.
And that was when you were filming for that role as Creeper, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I always...
Yeah, I wanna do it again. Like, I wasn't really taking it serious before. It was just kind of for fun. It was whatever. And then, but I was genuinely upset when it ended up getting broken in the move. Because I'd been working on it for so long too, and like the amount of candles you end up going through to make it into like an actual sculpture thing, you know, I'd put a lot into that, and it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool art piece, and yeah, so it sucked when it got busted. So I want to start it again, and a little more intentional this time. Like I would set up the base differently. Like I would do things differently this time. But I have a lot of the stuff still. Like I have a lot of the little candle tools, I guess you could call them, and the little thing to like I could make my own candles if I wanted for the amount of stuff I have for that, like just make them. Which, fuck, who cares? Why not? Maybe I just want to make fucking candles too, like whatever, I don't give a shit. It's like, maybe it's like I don't know, it's not the most manliest fucking hobby you could have, but I'm not here to fucking, it's my fucking joy. It's not about your joy or what it's supposed to look like, you know? So I've thought about setting that up again and doing that again, because it was kind of like, it's like a therapy, definitely a therapy, like campfires. I always like campfires as therapeutic, and you can't really have a campfire in the house, so it was like the next closest thing is having some candles and then playing in the wax. Like it was sort of just a whatever thing at the time that was silly, but I think, yeah, to be more intentional with creating it as an art piece this time around, I've thought about it. I just gotta dig the stuff out and find a spot for it and whatever. I just, it's been a wild few years, so. But definitely, I think, you know, do the silly thing. If you have a silly little idea you're thinking of to do that's like that, it just seems silly, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. He does it. Fucking Shia LaBeouf, he's the guy that went around, that meme of the just do it went around. So just do it. Just do it. Rainbow Bright for you? What, like the light bright? Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the light bright, where you put the little colored light things into the grid and it makes a little picture? Is that what you're talking about? No, it's for sure. Like, if you want to play with Legos and watch fucking SpongeBob, who cares? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not going to stop you from being able to do the adult thing the next day. You know? It's not going to stop you. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay to entertain and embrace our inner child from time to time. You know? I watch South Park still all the time. South Park I used to watch as a kid. And actually, I think they were trying to tell us something the whole time. So going back and watching some of that has been quite enlightening. But, like, I'll have that in the background playing for the animals, you know? Like, it'll just be on, doing its thing, playing through a season or whatever. And I don't care. Like, some people might think that's childish, but who cares? Who cares? Watch what you want to watch. Do what you're going to do. If it's not hurting anybody, just do you, you know?
This was Big Hazard, the hood that made PCP.
No, that's Harpies.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't get jumped into a gang at 36 years old.
I mean, yeah, we talked about it, but then he was like, this is ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. So if you went to jail in California, you'd have to run Southsider.
Yeah.
But here at the Mardi Gras Drunk Tank, you just gotta run Shia LaBeouf.
To be honest with you, bro, it's love all around. It just fucking is. All that other shit, like, I'm not pushing no line in California neither. I'm Shia LaBeouf, bro. I was in holes. The fuck
Yeah.
are we talking about? Like, really? Who's pushing what? Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? But I am friends with these people. We do love each other. Their shit is for real. They really do push the line. Am I pushing the line? No. Yeah.
But you're not expected to.
No, fuck no. What kind of clique would they be if they did?
You'd be. I mean, there's
It'd
a
be
lot,
ridiculous,
there's
fool.
a
It'd be
lot of old
stupid as
gangbangers in
shit.
California.
No, bro. They were good before I met them.
Would you say Holes is one of your favorite movies that you did?
It's just the first. I mean, I love Cleo very much, so I made a good friend there. He's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Disturbia.
Yeah, that's another one. I didn't make no friends there. Golly. What is this interview, bro? I'm gonna get in trouble anyway, so who cares? Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, God help me.
Cat's out of the bag, yo. Shia LaBeouf is a celebrity. He's in big movies, so when he pops out and gets busy on the streets of New Orleans, it is big news. We're talking headlines, major mainstream media coverage from the Even Steven star himself. In fact, so much coverage, as a news consumer, it's hard to figure out what the frick is going on. For example, AP News said he was arrested after an alleged fight during Mardi Gras in New Orleans. The Hollywood Reporter said he's been on a bar crawl and that he's terrorizing the city. TMZ just posted a mugshot. Altitude led by saying that he was accused of shouting homophobic slurs at a drag artist during Mardi Gras arrest, which it seems may have been true. But now pivoting to his private life, which apparently is our business. It says here on page 6, Mia Goth wants ex-Shia LaBeouf to go to rehab after Mardi Gras bar brawl arrest. Also page 6, 2 days later saying, shirtless Shia LaBeouf goes for a run, dines alone after being shut out of multiple churches on Ash Wednesday. Yes, you heard that right. The day after getting arrested, Shia tried to go to not just one, but 2 churches. A real man of God. So, as illustrated by all this different coverage, we have one dude with a very active week, and most people, depending on what media market they were in, only saw whichever story the algorithm picked for them.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a commercial too, but it's not. It's not. He's going into like what the media was saying about him and stuff, which I think this is interesting because it's true. Some of it is like depending on where you were reading from, it was like a different angle, and I was seeing a lot of different angles, but all trying to paint him in a negative light. Where like he seems like he's got it pretty together. Like obviously he's struggling, and he's not saying that he's not. Like he's confirmed that yes, he's having a hard time. Yes, he's struggling. Yes, he's trying to figure himself out right now. Yes, he's on this journey of trying to be sober and not really being sober right now. He's, going through phases of self-medicating more than other times, and it does get him into trouble. But he's owning up to all of it, which is great. I think that's, that differs from some other celebrities when they get themselves into trouble. You don't see Justin Timberlake doing this. He's trying to get the body cam footage to be prevented from being released because, it could ruin the tour or whatever that friggin' thing was. But, you don't see other people owning up to their shit the way that Shia is right now. So I think that's really big of him. Never showed you that he went to the church after. Yeah, he went to a couple churches. He went to try to redeem himself. He right away felt bad, So, like, they don't tell you those things. They only tell you what's going to make it the most shocking and the most sensationalized. And this is why I always say, guys, like, you got to investigate yourselves and not just, like, regurgitate what you see and hear, Because a lot of the media, that's what it is. It's like an echo chamber of saying some of this stuff. But a lot of times it's not even true. Like, yeah, some of it's true in this case, but, like, he's not just some drunken, rowdy, shitty guy,
That's where Ground News fixes that. I got it pulled up right now. It's an app and a website that pulls together sources from all over the world and puts them into one place, showing you how every major outlet covers a story, who's leaving what out, and lets you see the whole shape of something instead of just a piece that you were handed, stuck inside your little algorithmic echo.
Oh, I guess it was an ad after all. He got me. That's okay. That's fine. That sounds like an interesting thing, though, you guys might be into. I think I've heard about this. I think this is a site somebody had sent me before, but I hadn't had a chance to really look at it. But it's like to be as secular as possible, I guess, in a way. I don't know. I'll let him finish it off this time. We skipped the other one. We'll let him play this one through.
chamber like the rest of us. Break out of there, ground news. Let me show you just how much your algorithm may shape your perception of reality, especially when it comes to the Shia LaBeouf situation. So if you pull up ground news here, you see the arrest itself got covered by 272 sources worldwide, but the homophobic slurs allegation only got covered by 86. So that gap is exactly what the blind spot feed is for. You can
Yeah, fair enough. You already see it at the finisher. It's good to see you, buddy. They got me. I thought for sure he was just talking about the... Fair enough. This is kind of an ad, but this is kind of interesting, I guess. Well, for people in the U.S., maybe more so, like, more political interest, because I'm like, I don't know, I do my own investigative stuff too, right? So I'm not really getting my news in the way that other people do, I guess, either. But this does seem interesting. It does seem interesting, and I think it is the same site somebody had sent me before, and I did need to look into it anyway, so if nothing else, it's a reminder.
filter by factuality, ownership, and location to get the full scope of things before you make an informed decision. Ground news. Nah, but on the real, I actually use ground news every single day. I believe in what they're doing. They're the perfect partner for Channel 5. And for you guys, subscribing to ground news as a paid subscriber genuinely benefits our channel, because if you subscribe to them, they support us. We keep correspondents in the field. Like right now, we have a correspondent in Jalisco on the ground in Mexico, in the place that El Mencho got captured, talking to people about what happened. That's only possible because of people like Ground News. And I said people because I believe corporations are people. Citizens United is the best thing that ever happened to this country, and Ground News is my best friend. What's up, Ground News? Algorithmic echo chamber destroyed. And if you guys want to be like me and get on the same Ground News plan that I use, QR code right here, click the link below or go to groundnews.com/channel5. You can get a whopping 40% off the unlimited access Vantage plan.
Yeah, now it's fully an ad. Okay, I'm going to skip it ahead now. But that is neat. I think that if you can get a more of a overview of the news versus the echo chambers, the political echo chambers pushing certain narratives, I could support that. I think independent journalism is better. And I don't know. I can't vouch for it necessarily myself. I haven't checked it out myself. But it sounds like a decent structure and model of doing news versus how it's always been. You know, I think there's a lot of things we need to that need to be reformed, that we need to change our approach on. And news, the way the news, like we were just talking about it, how unethical the news feeds can be because of it being recycling misinformation, right? So I think if it's trying to get to the common denominators of truth, then that's a good thing. Yeah, for sure, the finisher. Well, especially with CPTSD, 100%. I think it's always better to have the most clarity of mind possible. But I mean, I too have had periods of self-medication. You know, I think all of us, everybody here, I think, has had a struggle at some point. You know, we've definitely all had some kind of trauma. I think, you know, that's the one thing that we all can relate to here. But it's never the answer, you know, that obviously there's better ways to go about it. There's better ways of dealing with the trauma. And the more I think that we're able to talk about it as a society and as a collective more openly, the more we're all healing a little bit along the way. Because I think there's a lot of that shame and the guilt and whatever, or regrets, or there's certain things that we put on ourselves from trauma that it's not even our shame or it's nothing to do with us. It wasn't our own fault, but it's stuff that you carry with you, that we, you know, once you start talking about it with people and once you start acknowledging it and looking it right square in the eye, it makes it a lot more manageable than trying to outrun it, right? And I think that we're getting there. I mean, Shia's doing it right now. He's showing us how it's done right now of, yeah, he did a bad thing, but he can own up and he has tried to figure it out. He's trying to do he's trying to do the work, the actual work, and not just the going through the motions, you know. He seems like he's really trying to connect with himself and figure out really what's making him tick and what the issues are and how he can fix that.
Heartbreak is a major thing.
In my life in general, not now, but yeah, I mean, that's what brought me out here for sure. That's what motivated the move, yeah. I'm not there now, but I was there when I came out, you know what I mean? When I was first buying this crib and all that, yep. That was about 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, one of the hard parts about being a public figure of your stature is like all of your personal life is in the media, good, bad, and ugly. I thought you did a pretty good job on the John Bernthal podcast.
Oh yeah.
About addressing that kind of pipeline that you had from controversy to, I guess, sobriety and getting serious about your life, figuring out what behavior patterns put you in the position to be in positions like the ones that got written about significantly.
Yeah.
Looking back at that whole chapter, you know, as far as the major controversy and everything like that 2 or 3 years ago, how do you look back in the
You mean
review?
with Twigs and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, she's a good girl, bro. That's a good girl.
But looking back in the rearview, do you feel like working the program after that helps you kind of rectify?
Nah, because the program, you know, sometimes when you get arrested, the court just says, hey, you got to go do this or that to like mitigate charges, you know? So they force you to do like rehab and like go to, you know, anger management. So like, that's not what the issue with me and her was. The issue with me and her had to do with jealousy and bullshit, manipulation, and some stuff she talked about and some stuff that, you know what I mean? But that's my fault too right there, you know what I mean? That's on me too. It's not on her, that's on me. That's a good girl. She's a fucking incredible artist, bro. Pay attention to her work. She's amazing.
When you say it's on you, like,
Whatever she said, run with most of it.
were you able to work some of that stuff out behind closed doors?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Because America is like a lot of times built on exile, you know, and like carceral methods of like when someone does something wrong, a lot of times the standard is like banish them from public life, banish them.
How?
That's just how, that's kind of the lay
I
of
wish
the land.
I wish you could. Leave me the fuck alone. You mean put me in the banished spot. Let me party, dude. Let me go there.
But I guess the idea is like, you know, you mentioned it earlier, like when you go to jail, you took responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So it's like when you mess up, when you're drunk and you do something wrong, you hurt somebody, what is the path to restitution? Is it like living, you know, in the proper way to minimize that in the future? Or is it like taking actionable steps behind closed doors to like rectify that shit?
Mm-hmm. You got to make amends. First thing you got to do is you got to say what you did. Then you got to say how it's never going to happen again. And then you got to show and prove.
What do you think's the best way to like show and prove after something like that?
Something like which?
Just anything, like going to jail, getting
Jail,
into
like
a fight.
which part?
I guess we could go one by one.
Here you go.
With the Twigs thing.
Twigs thing. So one way you can never run into that again is, you know, be straight up with people right away. When the relationship isn't working out, walk away.
And then as far as the situation with like bar fights and shit, how would you minimize that in the future?
With bar fights and shit, how you minimize that in the future? Boy, you got me. Wait a second. I got a better answer. Give me a second, bro.
Okay, cool.
I had a real, look how smart I was right here, bro. I look like a fucking scholar right here with the shit. Look at my fucking, look how I did it right here. Wait, look at this shape, fool.
You do look
okay,
pretty
stop
smart.
for a second. Let me think for a second. Look at the shape, though. I look like I'm thinking, huh? Look at I'm thinking hard as fuck, bro. Oh, my God. I'm thinking so hard. What was the question?
Well, it's like, the whole thing is like, you know, if you're going to keep staying out, partying, having fun,
Yeah.
probably going to want to like create almost a harm reduction strategy for
Here's the
yourself.
truth. Here's the truth. On Mardi Gras, everybody's got motivations on Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is Mardi Gras. God bless these dudes. I'm sorry it happened. Mardi Gras. They want to make it an extra thing. I understand. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Get it. Go.
Well, I just think, right, like if you're going to stay out and keep doing this,
Look, here's my truth. I'm in the street all day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm outside all day long before Mardi Gras. After Mardi Gras, I'm outside all day long. This city is love, bro. I get no fucking weirdo from no weird. There's not an ounce, not a smidgen of any weirdo out here with me walking around.
yeah.
It's love, nonstop love. It's nonstop love from both sides.
You feel like it's different in LA in that way.
No, LA's love too. Bro, I'm like Will Smith. I'm like an uncle, dog.
Yeah.
So I just move around. It's love everywhere. I don't get love. I get love pretty much everywhere. The minute I get into trouble is with a person who is after something.
After what kind of thing? Like inciting a reaction?
I am an opportunity sometimes to someone. That's not to me.
Yeah, he's like struggling to explain it because it's the opportunity of the clout chasing. I think is a huge element to it. But shit, guys, I might just call this as like a part 1, part 2, and do this. Finish this tomorrow. I'm starting to get like a pounding friggin' headache here, and I just drinking some water and trying to stave it off. But I think like the amount of time I sit in front of the computer and staring at this stuff and like on the phone and stuff too. Like I'm trying to I like dim the lights and stuff, and I'm trying to just push through it, but we're still only just like halfway through this, and I want to be able to give like my whole present self on this, and I think if you guys are cool with it, I think we're already, we're like 2 hours anyways. Maybe we'll do it in a half and a half, because it's like halfway through, and I think now he's going to start getting into the deep of it, and I really want to be able to pay attention to, but my behind my one eye is starting to like really throb, like pounding, and I don't actually get a lot of headaches very often, but when I do, they're like not a good time. Yeah, I maybe we'll try for another few minutes here. I'm gonna drink a bit more water, and I'm gonna try to push through it, because I would rather just push through it for you guys, but like while we're here and just get it done. But if we still got another hour or so to go, and if it's just gonna keep pounding, like this might be a good time to like to take the break from the screens and be in the darkness a little more. Shit. Yeah, it's coming on kind of strong. It was coming on a bit, and sometimes if I catch it in time, it won't be awful. I can get some water and I can deal with it. But it has been a long week, and I have been taking in a lot of info and reading a lot, and being in front of the screens constantly obviously is just not good for you. I have to get a new frame. I have these glasses that has the coated protection, a protection coating for your eyes for the computer, but the frames, I broke the frame, so I have to get a new frame for them too. So that's probably part of it. But yeah, I don't want it to get too much worse. So I hope you guys, it sounds like you guys totally understand, and I hate to be that guy. I apologize, because this is a really good discussion, and I think it's really just starting to get into the nitty gritty of the interview here. But yeah, if you guys are cool with it, we could pick this up and finish off part 2 tomorrow. I'll just mark it as part 1 and part 2. I'll set it up already, like I'll set it up for tomorrow in advance, so then you guys know for what time. But if you guys are cool with that, like, I'm so sorry, I hate to do it, but yeah, it's not going away. And it won't be fun for anybody trying to push through, I don't think. So yeah, well, and it is heavy too, just the like the mental and emotional exhaustion of it all, between the files and the stuff we've been digging into. Like, obviously that's probably playing a part too, but oh man, yeah, it's coming on pretty strong. So yeah, if you guys are cool with that, I think we'll leave it at that, and I appreciate you guys, everybody, coming out, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll pick this up tomorrow around the same time. I'll probably set it for 8 p.m. again, or whatever time it was for you guys when it started. But yeah, I'm gonna just like be in the dark for a minute and just like not be staring. As soon as I get away from the screens, usually it'll subside. So I gotta give myself more time for that too. I haven't been taking much time off either. Like, usually I'll try to take a day or two, and I did the other day. I tried to take a full day away from it, but it's so hard. I always end up reading into something, and like reading on the screens. Like, that's why I kind of like the physical media more too, because it's not like I can get away from the screen to be reading into something. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and yeah, more water, and probably get to bed at a more decent hour, because I've been burning the midnight oil here too. So yeah, let's pick this up tomorrow. Thank you guys. I think my blood pressure is okay. I don't think it's anything too serious. I think it's just overexertion. My eyes are tired. It's just, yeah. And reading through all the files and stuff too. Like, I've had a lot more screen time than any other time than usually. It's just more than usual lately with the Epstein files and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna run the outro here. Love you guys. Thank you. Sorry for those of you that are like just joining us, and then we're gonna cut it short here. But we're gonna pick this up tomorrow, and then we're gonna have more of these mind map streams coming up and stuff too. More videos coming at you. But tonight we rest. All right, guys. Have a good one. This video has been brought to you by Patreon, where I post more info, resources, bonus, and uncensored content. Everything is free to all members. Paid members just get early access, and some other features and benefits. It's mainly just a way to support the cause, stay informed with behind-the-scenes updates, and there is a public chat. I share all other news and updates outside of my body of work to the Eyes Wide Open group and over on Twitter. Everything mentioned and more can be found in the description. Lastly, make sure to like, hype, share, and subscribe.
And I'll catch you on the flip side.
Red bricks crumble under my feet, a path that whispers a cursed heartbeat. Shadows stretch long, they know